implies that policies coming out of the White House are driven by former President Barack Obama. Palmer warns that replacing Biden with another Democrat like Michelle Obama would actually not change the harmful policies that are currently affecting American families. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Where I was living was not a great place to live anymore. I began to pray for a place to go, praying for all of these things that a 9-year-old would want. I wanted horses, big house with a bunch of people my age. I wanted parents. I wanted a mom and a dad. Before I even prayed it, the Lord had already answered my prayer with the Big Oak Ranch. Who would that 9-year-old be if she never came to the Big Oak Ranch? I would be trying to fight for survival instead of fighting to break a cycle.
Big Oak Ranch, a Christian home for children needing a chance.
The Alabama Department of Public Health is confirming that an Atmore woman was bitten by a fox that tested positive for rabies. The woman was attacked by the animal while she was unloading groceries from her car at her home. The woman has begun the necessary rabies treatments. The Alabama Bar Association is now investigating the failure of payments to be made to residents of Lawrence County following a lawsuit. The ABA is responding to 120 complaints that have been submitted to them after residents in Lawrence County did not receive payments from a lawsuit win against 3M that occurred in 2022. The residents were all supposed to receive $3,500 in payment after law firm Stewart & Stewart represented the residents in a case about contaminated drinking water. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. Did you know the current national average turn time to close on a mortgage is 48 business days? But not at Alabama Home Mortgage. At Alabama Home Mortgage, our average close time is 16 business days. That's a month faster than the rest. How do we do it? With over 60 years of combined experience in the industry. Our team knows mortgages. Our years of experience yield a better experience for our customers. Folks, time is money. Whether you're looking to buy or refi, don't waste time with another mortgage company, bank, or credit union. We close on time, every time. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our fast turn time is just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586368, Equal Housing Lender.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 special. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting, Montgomery.
It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. And what I mean by that is an opportunity to do things that you think you could not do before.
How you conduct yourself in a democracy?
In politics, man must learn to rise above principle.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program. News and views in the afternoon, as we call it here locally, online, Joey Clark Live. I'm Joey. Both Eddie Bader and Byron Sheehy here in the studio. How you two gentlemen doing today?
Hi.
Doing just all right?
I'm doing well.
Oh, you see, he's doing well. You're just,
I still got that Arby's I'm settling. Although it's a great day because potato cakes are back, Joey. That's a great shirt, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
For our listening audience who...
Yeah, how can you be just all right with a shirt like that?
Because I'm digesting those potato cakes right now.
What, is that a pig?
This is a pig, and he is grilling pork.
And he's wearing a chef's hat that is in the style of an American flag print.
Yes.
He has a tattoo that is a bald or an eagle.
An eagle, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's patriotic pig, man.
I mean, that's classy, too,
Yeah.
I have to say.
Getting ready
Very,
for,
very
the
classy.
4th. I'm excited. You guys don't seem that excited to be celebrating freedom in a couple of days.
Oh, I'm excited. I just don't have to wear gaudy things like that. I think tomorrow I'll wear my pineapple shirt.
Really?
Yeah. I know it gets
that's
you
gonna
all
be a good time,
gets
buddy.
you all excited.
It does. That's going to be a
Well,
good
I
time.
like your hat with the American flag on it, Joe.
Yeah, and I wear this all the time. Some
That's a good
say
hat.
too much, but I like this hat.
It's all right. It's a good hat. The leather patch is just hard to see the American flag part on.
You know, if you're wondering, folks, normally we start not with this stupid jibber jabber. We have Judge Andrew Napolitano. He'll be joining us, though, in about 40 shopping minutes.
Busy man, high demand.
Yeah, he really is. And he's been apologizing behind the scenes but he is in high demand. And like I told him, hey, if you got Piers Morgan calling you, okay, go with Piers Morgan.
Whenever he classes the place up with his 20 minutes every week, so we're extremely lucky.
And definitely going to be picking his brain when it comes to all these Supreme Court rulings.
Yeah,
because the left in particular, the Democrats are freaking out, man.
You noticed that, huh?
Yeah, they're really having issues. Yeah, a good buddy of mine from years back, a guy named Sean Malone, libertarian thinker. I always just found him, though, just right down the middle in terms of his analysis, just an objective guy.
Okay.
And he put out this. He said, "Forgive me for not remembering who I saw this from first, but boy, the observation that conservatives have dumber conspiracy theories than progressives, but progressives en masse are far more ignorant about virtually every issue that matters, sure is getting a lot of support and evidence in the wake of these various SCOTUS rulings." I think that's 100% correct.
Yes, I believe that is
because, we've been doing the talk radio thing for a while now. And yeah, I think conservatives do come up with some of the dumber conspiracy theories.
By my experience, yeah.
Yeah.
Tinfoil hat should be
and
reserved for those on the right.
Often folks who don't feel like they have any say or power at all, they get most into, I think, conspiracy land. Like a lot of conspiracies have been shown to be true.
Here lately, yeah.
But, the really nutso stuff.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
I think it's definitely more on the right. But, when you look at the reaction, like the over-the-top reaction, any change to the any change at all to the status quo, all of a sudden these progressives become so conservative in that little c sense. Like, no, we have to conserve all these things we have. And these Republicans just want Trump to be a dictator.
It messes with their construct, their little paradigm they have constructed for themselves.
Oh, that little...
between their earlobes, that fantasy land they live in.
Right. Well, it's a new day and age. And ever since the media was blown up with the change in technology, and especially Elon buying things there at Twitter X, I think a big portion of their power that they once had is now gone. And thus, you're now seeing this play out. How did Trump become the president in 2016?
Cut out the editor.
Yeah.
Took his message straight to the people.
Exactly
there was
right.
a phrase back in those days called meme magic is real.
Mm-hmm.
Meme magic is real, that we can meme Trump into the White House. And it worked.
Yeah.
I might have shared a few of those.
And remember when CNN was doing those reports on who's putting these memes up? It's a website called 4chan where everybody's anonymous and they're posting awful things. And it's like, you do know you're just playing into their game.
It's the internet.
How the OK sign, oh no, I just did it on camera. The OK sign became some symbol of white supremacy as opposed to, made you look and then you get a little tap.
Yeah.
How they trolled the corporate media was beautiful. And then Trump would often share the same memery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And today it just came out that the Biden campaign is trying to hire a meme manager to reach out to young folks.
You sent him my resume? I'm a pretty good memer.
Yeah. You're good at collecting them. You're not a great producer of memes.
I feel like I could be creative and vicious enough to generate some pretty decent memes.
I think you could. I think that could work. But if meme magic is what gets Trump in 2016, like people are blaming Mitch McConnell for the court's decisions, of course, blaming Trump, just blaming the forces of bigotry and divisive, benighted prejudice that exist on the right, all that stuff. But I think we have to blame the memes because that's what got Trump in there in 2016. That's what allowed Trump to appoint all these justices. And also what I find humorous is that we've gotten many calls from people on the right who don't like decisions the court made this cycle.
Well, I mean, that's what the court does. They decide on things that aren't popular, and it's pretty divisive one way or the other. And I mean, I walked in asking about a couple of issues where you stood, and you know, I'm kind of like you. I'm kind of filtering through, kind of trying to discern what does this actually mean. And even though these cases are in the context of the issues that brought them forth, you know that they're going to have far-reaching implications for generations to come.
Well, and
power of the court.
Of course, in particular, there's this immunity question when it comes to the presidency itself. And this is now affecting every single court case being thrown at Donald John Trump right now. So Jack Smith is going to have to reevaluate some of the charges he's brought. And also Jack Smith kind of got hit because the justice ruled in a January 6th defendant's favor, saying that y'all are using an overly broad understanding of the Obstruction Act you're trying to use to take people down and hold them to justice. But broke this morning that this most recent case where Trump was convicted. You know, I'm not. You're the criminal, Joe. I loved how it just got into the childish things. But Alvin Bragg has agreed to delay the sentencing in that case because, you know, you'd think this is not any official act Trump did, like paying money to Stormy Daniels or whatever. But they used evidence from official acts in the White House to bolster their case. So there's a big question. Was that even licit? Was that allowable? And so there's going to be even a delay in that case in terms of the sentencing. There's going to be a lot of fallout, again, from all these Jack Smith cases. And again, I'm a layman. We're going to talk to Judge Knapp here before too long.
Ask him during the interview if you can remember. I think there's something about the timeliness or when a decision is reached. So I don't think they can do anything. What's the Latin term for post de facto, you know, beforehand on the ruling, what happened previously, now that the Supreme Court cases came down?
Yeah, I don't know. This is why I got to ask the man. But Supreme Court also struck down, of course, the Chevron doctrine. That's really freaking people out. Wait, you're saying these administrative agencies that are career people that are unelected can't make rules out of thin air and expand their authority? What an assault on democracy to say the Congress actually has to make the rules we live by.
I wish we would have had this court on that issue about 40 years ago.
Absolutely.
Where we are today.
I can't wait for these things to go back to court. Like I said, EPA, they're fixing to get it handed right back to them. I long for this.
Oh, yeah. ATF as well.
They've come after too many regular citizens by saying, well, we are the law. Not no more, buddy.
Well, and this will apply, I'm sure, to every department, the Commerce Department, Interior Department, the HUD, to the Energy Department. Oh, especially Vivek did a whole speech about the nuclear regulatory regime. The reason we don't have modern nuclear plants built all over this country.
Yeah.
Like we can miniaturize it for submarines and for aircraft carriers, but we can't figure this out for a community to have actually safe energy that's plentiful and cheap. Why? In large part, it's the nuclear regulatory agencies. Throw in there also even the Department of Education. All sorts of things this federal government has done, say, in the last 4 decades, that is not constitutional, and the Congress did not give them authority to do.
Housing, federal housing. They're trying to force all these appliances on there that you don't want. They're trying to take away your gas appliances. When you're building new houses now, there's laws in effect that says you have to have set up for a double EV charger in your garage. You also have to have a 220-volt plug, even though you have a gas furnace or a gas stove. Soon we're going to outlaw those, and they have to be ready. At a minimum, just a minimum cost on a basic square house, that's going to add at least $25,000.
And here's the beautiful thing. It's not just that more rules and regulations are put down that are costly to businesses and to entrepreneurs. It's even the threat. It's what some fancy folks call regime uncertainty, where they don't pass any laws or new rules or regs. They just propose them and kind of throw them up in the air. So if you're trying to create a business and maybe put down plans 5-10 years in the future, you don't know whether or not this is going to be triggered. We've seen this in particular with the SEC and the cryptocurrency industry that's rising up. So I think the Chevron doctrine being overthrown is just a massive decision.
And politically, it's going to cause people to, or allow them to hold their Congress people, you know, more accountable. They're going to have to take on more of this action instead of just letting the administrators
let the experts take care of it. Yeah.
Now, the court, I didn't love this decision. They sent the social media moderation, what were supposed to be big First Amendment cases, back to the lower courts. I think it's something about standing, but that's definitely one I want to ask Judge Knapp about, because this was a pair of First Amendment challenges to laws passed by Republicans in Texas and Florida that would regulate how social media companies moderate user content.
Yeah.
And it was a unanimous decision. So they're essentially saying the lower courts must first determine the full scope of what the laws in fact cover. Do more work.
It pertained to minors specifically, the Texas case, right?
Yeah, and Florida. Both of them put restrictions down. In fact, Senator Britt at the federal level is trying to put a lot of this from the federal level going on with bipartisan support, but there's also bipartisan dissent, opposition. Yeah.
Instead, that's just
the one that's really crucial. It's one thing to say if you're 14 and younger, you can't be on these social media sites. Not really the worst thing in the world.
No.
But they said you can't target with algorithms anybody who's younger, I think under 18. And so you go, okay, well, doesn't that make sense too? I don't like the algorithms either.
Where's it in, though?
Okay, but how do you take the algorithms, start making them public? Does the federal government start demanding ways that they personally can manipulate the algorithms?
Yes.
To me, that's where I think this maybe why the higher court threw it back down to the lower court saying, y'all need to study this more. Like, what exactly are these laws demanding of these massive companies? So there's so much to get to in terms of what the Supreme Court has recently done. And the fallout is well, very real. And you're getting a lot of reaction in real time. This is the beauty of social media these days, folks. There was one person I hadn't heard from, hadn't seen in a while. You know her name? Rosie O'Donnell.
Oh, I saw that old bag this morning.
Yeah, she's looking good nowadays.
Is she?
Yeah, from about 500 yards.
That was tongue in cheek.
Yeah, I was like, I haven't gotten on. You being facetious?
Yeah.
Okay. Ugh. Well, here she is reacting to everything that's been going on with the Supreme Court and also just the energy that seems to be more on Trump's side. Honestly, she just ends with a little prayer, but let's check on Rosie, see how she's doing.
Those are the squirrels talking. They probably want more walnuts.
Oh, no. Those are the squirrels talking. They probably want more walnuts. I hope there are actual squirrels outside her window.
It's in her brain.
All right, I'm going to go feed them. Listen, I'm depressed myself, but I'm trying to tell you out there, if you are, you got to hold on. We've survived all the depressing days so far. We'll survive this one. Reach out for your friends for help. Tell the people that you love how you feel. And know that this country, I believe, is going to right itself and oust him for good in November. And boy, I pray. That's all I got to say. TikTok, you don't stop.
It takes away a little bit of the gravitas. When you're talking about feeding squirrels, nobody can see but her. And then you end like everybody pray. You're like, okay, maybe she's turning around. TikTok, you just don't stop. It's like, what do you
think of what she must have overcame to force herself out of bed and record that?
Yeah, I know. And Trump really did a number on her. Just
you can tell
the bullying, I don't know. I've seen plenty of people on the conservative right who really get down to the dumps over politics. Like, I get frustrated, I get angry, but I try not to let it like actually define the meaning and purpose of life. Mm-hmm. You know, there's plenty of things out there to enjoy beyond the political. But I do remember one guy who called up after Romney lost. It was like the day or two after Obama won re-election. And his name was Pete. He had been calling these stations and these shows here on News Talk for months leading up to that 2012 election. And Pete was a little outside of the city, and he called the day after Obama's re-election when Romney lost. Romney. And said, well, they just don't pump sunshine back where I live anymore. And then he hung up. And I have not heard from Pete since.
That's a pretty
poor
dark,
man.
That's a pretty dark way to go out.
Yeah, that's literally and figuratively. Like, poor guy. Like, don't let it get you down too much, folks. Yeah, it can be frustrating. It does seem like we are on the precipice of something big. I'm not convinced it's just political. Like, I really am not convinced that something big is just this election. I think it has something more to do with the technology we've unleashed on ourselves.
Well, that, and I mean, I think there's more of a, on the spiritual side, I think people are turning inward a little bit more. And maybe it's in conjunction with the politics and feeling like the world's slipping away, technology wise, looking for a human connection.
Yeah.
People are starting to focus on themselves and their neighbors a little bit more. So maybe there's a positive to glean from this.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's all these thought experiments. Like, if you could go back to, like, 1900, or let's say, like, 1924, 100 years ago, and somebody, you convince, number one, the people in 1924, I'm a time traveler, I literally am from the future. Somehow you prove that to them. They're like, okay, Mr. from the future,
All right.
what's going to happen in the next 100 years? And you could honestly say to them, it will be awful. Millions will die in the next couple decades. Millions. Which the world wars were one of the biggest nightmares ever seen on Earth, if not the biggest. Like, oh, that first Great War? That was just the prelude to what's coming, guys. But then you could also say to them, well, and then after that, billions and billions of people will be raised out of poverty. Men will land on the moon, brave the heavens. The technology and the conveniences of everyday life to pretty everyday people, especially, say, in the developed world, will be better than kings and queens and emperors ever dreamed of.
Mm-hmm.
So it's both.
Perspective's a hell of a thing, man.
It's both. And I am much more in the camp of everybody's like, Steven Pinker puts out this idea that, look, we live in the most peaceful time ever. Despite even the wars going on, we live in the most peaceful time ever. And that's because of our technology, and we've just improved morally. I'm in the camp of going, and this is more David Berlinski, World War I, World War II really still haven't been addressed. Because everybody before those wars thought this is the best it's ever been. And it was. And then that happened. So I don't think we've solved the whole human nature problem. And when you look at the madness that did happen in the middle of the 20th century, you got to say, did we really get over that? I don't think so. The world could go sideways quickly.
Morality's not improved, in my opinion. Obviously, wasn't around in that point in time, but just my observation from the 90s, the aughts to today, it's deteriorated slightly, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think the old consensus is dying literally and figuratively.
Mm-hmm.
The stable institutions you had for a few generations, people don't trust them anymore. And yeah, how many people are actually, there's still some, how many people alive still remember World War II? Like, actually remember it?
Few.
Like, my grandfather remembers that he was a kid, and he remembers the adults being freaked out and how serious they were in that moment. But he was a kid. He kind of was still able to blissfully go about life. But we don't have those folks that actually brave the beaches. Not many. We get a few.
And to your point, how many people are they telling their stories to from the younger generation below us?
Well, and then this even makes it worse. Try to explain to somebody who's born after 2001 the feeling on 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of difficult.
Yeah.
And we have video footage. You have all this stuff. So how much are, even folks who love history and read the history of World War II and the Civil War, how much are we losing from the actual feelings, especially led to those catastrophes? So happy 4th of July, folks. But that's what I mean. I don't think it's just, big election coming. It is a big election. But there is some other game afoot that I think is much wider, much deeper. And the best thing you can do is something Byron said a second ago. Get to know your neighbor. Hold the ones you love tight, whether it's family or friends. Look after each other. Because even when things get bad, that can make a heck of a difference.
And get to know a stranger,
Yeah.
Talk to somebody you haven't talked to in a while.
Yeah, especially if you disagree on politics. Don't talk about politics. Talk about anything else under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Get to know them. Eddie, you got a few friends like that.
I have a lot of friends like that.
Yeah.
But as a realtor, I talk to strangers every day.
Well,
sometimes I have enough of that.
Always be closing. Yeah.
Talking to strangers ain't all it's cracked up to be.
We got to hit this break. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Josh and Leslie Ryder there at Dillon Rings. And at Dillon Rings, of course, they are a full-service jewelry shop. Ready to help you when it comes to amazing selection across the board, from high-end to everyday jewelry items to repairs, including watch repairs, custom design work that only Josh Ryder can do. That man's a true artist. Of course, they could also do appraisals, spa treatments, cleanings. They do it all. That's what we mean by full-service jewelry shop. Now, they are closed today.
Right.
They're closed from today, July 2nd, through the 8th. Taking a good little vacay right there, and they've earned it.
Yeah, they have.
But if you kind of want to check out the handiwork, get a thirst there, you can always go to DillonRings.com. Just search Dillon Rings, DYLAN Rings, on Facebook or Instagram, and check out what they have to offer. And when they come back on the 8th of July, you got to get your butt over there to that brand new showroom at 119 Brown Springs Road, right here in Montgomery, just off of Atlanta Highway. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie and Byron, the fellas on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
That's the sound of steak searing in its juices on your new pellet grill. You heard that right. The Weber Searwood Pellet Grill can smoke low and slow at 180 degrees all the way to a high heat sear at 600. With the Weber Searwood, you can cook on the direct flame over the full grate sear zone. You'll hear the gasp of amazement from friends and family when you serve the food. Cooking with the Weber Searwood Pellet Grill just sounds delicious and tastes even better.
Celebrate July 4th with savings at Lowe's. For a limited time, save on the essentials you need to make your garden pop for summer, like Miracle-Gro 25-quart potting mix. Get 2 bags for just $16 and get up to 40% off. Plus, save an extra $50 on every $500 you spend on select major appliances. Hurry, these deals won't last long because Lowe's knows summer savings. Valid through 7/10. Miracle-Gro excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Appliance savings vary based on purchase amount. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for more details. While supplies last.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From a little fender bender to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For over 35 years, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Hi, everybody. It is a routine 4th of July holiday week forecast. No surprises and nothing tropical for us to worry about. Random showers and storms will be around each day through Wednesday, mostly in the afternoon and evening hours. We'll be up to about 93 today, mid-70s tonight. Then the mid-90s return for Wednesday and 4th of July Thursday with triple-digit heat indices. Upper 90s on Friday and Saturday, and a routine beach forecast this weekend. Random storms here and there. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Do you have big plans this summer? Dive into summer with an ASE Credit Union vacation loan. Whether you've got a trip coming up, projects at home, or just need a little extra cash, we've got you covered. So don't put your plans on hold. Visit yourasecu.com or stop by and see us today.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Again, Judge Andrew DePaul joining us about 12:45 our time. It's a little over 10 minutes from now. Eddie Bader and Byron Sheehy here in the studio with me. Did y'all see that Rudy Giuliani was disbarred from practicing law in the great state of New York?
No, I did not see that.
What a fall. It might be, again, something I need to ask Judge Knapp about, because he once was America's mayor.
What was the case in this? Was it something?
Oh, this has to do with all the stuff he did around the 2020
That's what I
election for
wondered. Okay.
Trump.
It's hard for me to take that seriously then.
Well, no, I remember do you not remember the shows we did in December where we were covering the Pal and Rudy Giuliani, and we're like, this seems too over the top.
Well, especially with Sidney.
And if Sidney Powell had actually shown the goods, I was like, Sidney, you're claiming that essentially the highest bidder can essentially program elections through hacking. Even if what you're saying is true, you and the rest of us are screwed. Like, that's in fact true. Do you think even telling the truth about it is going to stop it? And then she didn't even have the goods.
That's saying she didn't have the receipts. In this world, you got to have the receipts.
Yeah, and Rudy with the hair thing melting, and it's like, and I saw him on a few appearances with like Glenn Beck and stuff, and he was acting like it was still like the 1970s. Like, oh, Joe Biden, I'm going to go to a big newspaper, golly jeepers, and hand it over to him. The whole contents of the laptop. The New York Post will get it out there. Rudy, why didn't you just put it on the internet open source?
Right.
For everybody to, and their brother to see
Might not
it.
get all the credit for that, though, Joey. Got to get my credit.
Well, then the New York Post and anybody else who wanted to scoop, even folks who wanted to discredit it, you could put it right out there.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, he kind of failed in that way. And he just always seemed, there was a lot of suggestion, never any receipts, to your point. A lot of suggestion, no receipts.
Have you seen where someone has officially came out, an elected official, a Dem, calling for Biden to step down?
I heard
that. Which one?
Dodgett, Lloyd.
Lloyd Dodgett. That's a fitting last name.
He is congressman from Texas. I'm guessing Austin.
Got to be from Austin.
I love the subtle ironies of life. The first Democratic congressman, lawmaker, to come out and say Biden needs to drop out is a guy with the last name of Dodgett.
Old white guy.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise.
My thing is, I don't care if he drops out. If he drops out, that's fine, but you got to quit being president today because you are awful. You're still awful. The fact that you're not running for the future, you're doing them a favor, not me.
Nah, man, he's going to claim all this official immunity stuff. He's got business to take care of before he leaves.
Well, I do, but if that's the
Little house
case,
cleaning.
I want him to run, though, because he is very beatable, and it will remind everyone during this election season that our, I would say, leaders will put anybody they can in power, and to maintain power. They'll put this ghost of a person up there. I want everybody to be reminded of that daily.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Well, and by the way, what you were saying last week is all this is coming down about how it being an internal fight, and especially the people around Biden whose jobs are, Biden needs to be president for them to keep their jobs. Yeah, there's a big headline saying White House aides feel betrayed by, I believe, the campaign. That we did all this stuff to essentially cover it up. No, you didn't. Like, you didn't fool anybody that didn't want to already be fooled.
To some degree, they did. Look,
I don't think
the
people thought
beautiful
this bad.
part to me of the fallout from the debate last week wasn't anything that Trump did. It was just watching the rank and file Democrats realize that the wheels fell off a long time ago. And oh my God, how could we not have known this? When did this happen? I mean, Joey, when did President Biden get like this? What happened?
About 8 years ago.
Yeah. Remember Afghanistan? And it's like the chaos is, priced in. Like, Mr. President, people are concerned about your age. This was some other interview. What do you say to him? Oh, watch me.
Watch me.
Just watch me.
And then he pooped his pants.
And I was like, is he quoting James Brown? Like, I don't think you got it, man. I don't think you have that fastball anymore.
No, he doesn't. But are they going to force him out? I mean, you've been saying for a while they're going to do the whole...
I'm looking at a great headline here from hotair.com. Democrats have chosen long, slow death march. And CNN's now saying that these are the worst numbers we've ever seen for an incumbent president.
I bet.
And yet Biden's putting out clips like, folks, or it's not Biden, it's one of his team members on Twitter. Folks, I know I'm not a young man, but I know how to do his job. I know how to tell the truth. Donald Trump does not. Watch our new ad.
All right.
Hey, how about both of you lie constantly? That might be the fair way to go about this.
So, just one of the top line numbers I saw, I think it was 74% of people, didn't really get into classification, but just the political breakdown, you can surmise that about 25% of the Democrat Party now wants him to step down.
Yeah.
Right.
That's going to hurt down ballot, bro.
Yeah, we'll see.
I think
But
that's what they're worried about too.
we got to hit this break. Coming up after the break, we'll have Judge Andrew Napolitano. This part of the program brought to you by James Cole and Cole Plumbing. And there at Cole Plumbing, James and the team are ready to help you with all your plumbing needs. It could be an everyday plumbing problem like low water pressure or a clogged drain.
That's right.
Maybe even tree root invasion. If that tree's been getting taller, it's also been growing them roots out.
Yeah, it has.
Or maybe it's a big problem, like a burst pipe inside or outside your home, big leak. Well, the beautiful thing with Cole Plumbing is they know how to find that leak with precision and expertise and get the job done with minimal discomfort to you in your home. They have this proprietary pipelining technology that allows them to get in there, again, with that precision and expertise without having to tear out a bunch of drywall or dig up a huge hole in your yard. But maybe you don't really have an issue. You just want to upgrade, say, to a tankless water heater system or a taller toilet or a bidet. Is that how it's said, a bidet?
Sure, down here, but basically you just go paperless.
Yeah. Well, it's a good way to save the trees.
Yeah.
So Cole Plumbing can help you with all that. Give them a call today at 279-8919. That's 279-8919. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your bowl,
call on Cole.
We'll be back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
For over 40 years, Headley Plumbing has been fixing the River Region's plumbing problems with fast, affordable service. The pros at Headley are ready to respond anytime you need help, and they charge fair rates for their expert service. They help River Region homes and businesses every day, from repairing leaky faucets, septic tank service, replacing damaged sewer lines, or just unstopping a blocked drain. Trust the experts at Headley Plumbing. Call 285-3667. Headley Plumbing, 285-3667. Remember Headley's motto, in our business, a flush beats a full house.
Headley Metal Buildings has been your source for quality metal buildings in the River Region since 2007. Carports up to 24 feet wide, RV covers, storage buildings, even a sturdy metal barn up to 54 feet wide. Your structure can be customized, installed on level ground, and comes with a 20-year warranty. Let Headley Metal Buildings help you find the perfect solution. Financing available. Call 285-3667 for details or find Headley Metal Buildings on Facebook.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man. Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdit. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
I'm Cam Marston. My radio show and podcast called What's Working with Cam Marston focuses on the workplace, workforce, and marketplace trends shaping Alabama business. My guests tell their stories and discuss their business expertise in such a way that you and I can learn from them and apply it to our own world. Listen to What's Working with Cam Marston each Saturday at noon right here on News Talk 93.1.
The River Region's News Talk station. News Talk 93.1. WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Doing this at a little bit of a different time today, but it is tradition on Tuesday, so we had to make it happen. We have the one, the only Judge Andrew Napolitano. Judge, how you doing today?
I'm fine, Joey. Thank you for accommodating my crazy schedule.
It's all good. And when you said you're busy on British TV, I'm like, wait, Piers Morgan? Okay, yeah, I get it. And I was rooting for you, man. I've gotten used to watching these shows, but I've gotten to know you, and you kick butt on that appearance there.
I haven't been in one of those panel discussions, which is a glorified food fight, in years, and I wasn't really ready for it. I tried to keep a step back from there, trying to bite each other in the nose.
Yeah, and Piers seems to enjoy that sort of thing. But so much to talk about. Let's get right to it. The Supreme Court's term this time. Many huge cases. I guess I want to start with this presidential immunity. What do you think of the ruling, and how does this impact the cases against Trump in particular?
Well, I would have dissented, Joey. The president of the United States is becoming a prince with far more authority than the Constitution and the Founding Fathers ever demanded. I mean, in one respect, there's little change. That which is obviously presidential is immune. That which is obviously personal is not. It's this interim period where they presume it's presidential, and the government has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that it is personal. This would allow an unscrupulous president, under the guise of using his office pursuant to constitutional authority, to commit the criminal acts for which there would never be any redress. I mean, the Democrats are already saying this morning, suppose Joe Biden decides that Donald Trump is such a threat to democracy that he has to be arrested without charge. Would there be any redress for kidnapping against Joe Biden after he leaves office? Well, before yesterday, yes, there would. But after yesterday, no, there wouldn't. So my conservative Republican friends, and you and I have many, should think twice before rejoicing over this, because it can be used to harm democracy, harm the republic, damage the Constitution, and harm a candidate that they like.
Well, it seems, to your point, essentially just codified, put in writing in a court ruling, the way presidents have acted now for a few generations.
Except for this middle ground, which would allow a president to commit a crime by masking it as official governmental behavior. I mean, candidly, if you want to get down to the nitty gritty, prior to yesterday, the only thing that was absolutely immune was core constitutional responsibilities, meaning responsibilities expressly delegated to the president under the Constitution. Now, the Congress has given the president thousands, plural, of responsibilities that are nowhere seen in the Constitution. After yesterday, the exercise of those responsibilities are immune from criminal prosecution already. I'll give you an example. Could Harry Truman have been prosecuted for murder after killing a few 100,000 people a week before the Japanese were about to surrender? Under this opinion yesterday, no. Prior to yesterday, yes. Now, no president is going to do that. It was no DOJ is going to do it. It was a popular act. It's part of American mythology, but it was a war crime and it was mass murder. And it may have taken a few generations to recognize that. So that's an example of how things have changed radically. Can Donald Trump be prosecuted for murder for murdering General Soleimani? He was on his way to lunch. He wasn't harming a soul. We weren't at war with this country. We weren't at war with the country he was in. After yesterday, no. Before yesterday, yes.
So the same court that is making our presidents princes now is also stripped a lot of authority from the executive agencies with the overturn of Chevron.
Well, there I am in full agreement with the court, because those executive agencies are not accountable to the people. If Congress wants to say you can only have 2 parts per billion of pollutant in the air, that's one thing. We can vote Congress out of office, or we can reelect it if we like what it does. But when unelected, faceless, nameless, uncheckable bureaucrats do that, and if you challenge them and go into court, they're presumed to be correct. So it's not a level playing field in court. It's like this, where my elbow is the government, and where my hand is the challenger. That violates due process. That wasn't corrected until the end of last week. That will have a far greater effect than presidential immunity. because the administrative agencies promulgate thousands of regulations every month. And many of them are not even challenged because of this nonsense that you walk into court and the government has a leg up on you. No longer. There no longer is a presumption that what they do is valid. That will restrain them from doing a lot of what they want. And if Congress wants to regulate something, whether it's the number of rounds you can have in a magazine, BATF, whether it's a mud puddle being considered navigable waters, EPA, whether it's the frequency with which a woman can take a birth control pill, FDA, Congress can legislate those things, and the people can vote Congress out of office if they don't like it.
Now, did we get any clear decisions from the court on, say, the freedom of speech challenges, whether it's states trying to control social media, or I believe it was that lawsuit saying the Biden administration was essentially chilling free speech when they were going to the executives and folks at Twitter and other social media?
We did, and the court is on both sides of the issue. The court allowed the Biden administration to do what the Trump administration started, which is using a carrot and a stick to coerce social media, big tech. We're talking Facebook, Google, YouTube, into suppressing speech the government hates and promoting speech the government likes. Supreme Court said as long as they're free to resist, big tech is free to resist, the Biden administration can do it. This is a terrible violation of the Fourth Amendment. The government's megaphone and power is bigger than anybody else's. When the government uses a carrot or a stick, people almost always obey. We'll see how far this goes, but the court said it's not a violation of freedom of speech, that the government can do indirectly what the Congress prohibits it from doing directly. On Florida and Texas prohibiting big tech from doing their own censorship, the court punted, but did say, we can't imagine that the states could get away with this. I mean, they sent it back for further fact findings, but in so doing, expressed their own opinion unanimously, by the way, that what Florida and Texas tried to do was unconstitutional. How the same court could find what Florida and Texas did as unconstitutional, and yet what the Trump and Biden administrations have done is constitutional under the same First Amendment, same court, it's beyond me.
Now, yeah, I want to step back at just the court itself, because especially coming from the Democrats right now, a lot of talk of wanting to expand the court and wanting to create ethical rules for justices and essentially control the court more. Where do you see this court, especially under Chief Justice Roberts? Where is it going? How would you judge them?
Well, it's a court of last resort. Justice Jackson said we're final. We're infallible because we're final. We're not final because we're infallible. I mean, there is no appeal. Theoretically, a constitutional amendment could overturn a court ruling, but that process is so cumbersome. It only happened once, and that was 220 years ago with the 11th Amendment, something nobody ever gets involved with today, whether when you sue a state, you're suing the state as a state, or the people who work for the state who are then immunized by the state. It's a highly technical area. This is the last time that that happened. But people need to remember, and I need to remember this myself, justices are appointed because their political philosophies coincide with the presidents who appoint them. Now, I don't know that Donald Trump had immunity in mind when he appointed Neil Gorsuch, or that George W. Bush had Roe in mind when he appointed Sam Alito, or that his father had Clarence Thomas in mind. His father had the right to keep and bear arms in mind. George H.W. was, though a military guy, not very friendly to the Second Amendment when he appointed Justice Thomas. But we are stuck with the people who are appointed. Sometimes they represent a political philosophy no longer in vogue, but as long as they're on the court, that philosophy will be manifested there. I would have, agreed on the right to keep and bear arms. I would have agreed on getting rid of the Chevron doctrine. That's leveling the playing field when you're suing an administrative agency. I would have found that what the Biden and Trump administrations are doing with the carrot and the stick to coerce big tech to suppress and to support speech the government likes, I would have found that that's unconstitutional. I would have found that what Florida and Texas did is unconstitutional. And I would have upheld the appellate court decision on Trump and immunity, which is that anybody who breaks the law gets prosecuted no matter who they are.
Yeah, and it's a big issue. And I can remember you saying an unpopular thing years ago when Kavanaugh was nominated by Trump, and you were saying, no, watch out, this guy's not going to be very good. And I constantly remind folks that you called it right there. Who do you think is the best? Who's the closest to you? I know this could be a very complicated answer, but who's probably the best justice in your mind?
Gorsuch and I studied jurisprudence under the same natural law theoretician. He's still around, although he's up there in years, by the name of John Finnis, Finnis. And Justice Gorsuch believes, as I do, the rest of the court doesn't, and the government doesn't, that our rights come from our humanity. The rest of the court, most judges and government believes it is the fountain and origin of our rights. Justice Gorsuch recognizes natural rights, so my views would be closest to him. He disappointed me in immunity, and he disappointed me on the Texas and Florida case, but he was on the right side. He dissented on the big tech case. He said to the Supreme Court, what are you, crazy? The First Amendment's pretty clear. The government can't do this. It's the whole reason we have the First Amendment. So I would be with him or he with me about 90% of the time.
And I saw just a quick reaction to this. Today, it broke that Rudy Giuliani has been disbarred from practicing law in the state of New York, once America's mayor. What's your reaction to this?
Once the most outstanding federal prosecutor in the country. I don't think what he did was a disbarable offense because he wasn't under oath. I thought what he was saying about Trump having won in 2020 was political hyperbole and therefore protected speech. But because he said this to judges and to legislatures, the court found it had to be truthful, and the court found he knew it was untruthful, and therefore he was disbarred. I don't think he's going to get his license back. In most states, disbarment is permanent. In New York, it's not. It's for 5 years. I think he's 80 years old. I don't know that he wants to practice law when he's 85. I know Rudy, and I feel sorry for him. He can get carried away at times. He can have a client who deserts him and not pay his legal bills. We all know about that. But he's suffering for it.
Well, I really appreciate you making time with your crazy schedule. I know Judging Freedom continues today. Who's been on? Who do you got coming up?
I just had Scott Ritter this morning. I have Douglas McGregor tomorrow. We're doing, the reason my schedule is so crazy is we're doing 5 days in 3 this week because we all have Thursday and Friday off thanks to Independence Day. 11.2 million viewers in the month of June.
Wow.
So we're still, and we broke 400,000 subscriptions last night while I was sleeping. Gotta go. Thank you, Joey. All the best.
Appreciate
See you
it, Judge.
next Tuesday. All the best, my friend.
God bless, sir. Again, folks, that's Judge Andrew Napolitano, and always love having him on. Yeah, like I have trouble sometimes following that guy up.
Well, going back to the question or comment I had when I came in, not being an attorney, reading some of the opinions, I have my thoughts on them, and without just jumping out in front of the train and getting ran over by my fellow conservatives, I wanted to know that my line of thinking was, somewhat correct. So it's nice to hear at least I'm in line with the judge a little, on that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, and I like the clarification he gave that now this middle way of they can mask a personal act within an official act. Hold on to your
and that
butts.
the burden, unless I heard him incorrectly, the burden is to prove that it was a private act and not officially a state act, which I would think, logically it would be the opposite, but it seems like I'm not as smart as a bunch of judges. Surprise.
And we do have to wonder, where does all this go? What's the effect 10, 20 years out? Of course, you can't always live your life that way. You've got what's in front of you, but It does seem like we are heading in a direction where, presidents are princes. And I feel like we've been heading in that direction.
The most concerning thing I heard was, and again, tell me if I heard it incorrectly, Gorsuch is the only conservative justice, in the judge's opinion, that believes in natural rights versus government appointed or given rights.
Correct.
That's a sad, sad day, man.
Yeah, I know.
I would just naturally assume that anyone to the right of the political center would just inherently understand that God's law supersedes man's law. Therefore, God's rights supersedes any rights given to you by government.
Oh, no. Like, Roberts ain't that way. Kavanaugh ain't that way. Alito, even Thomas are not, they do not think in terms of natural rights.
And I mean, the judge also said on a unrelated or a different case that, courts, kind of split on this issue, right down the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he was talking about specifically this court so much as a couple of different rulings, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Sometimes it doesn't make logical sense why they decide something, and it gets esoteric.
I do think that, courts have to be judged 30, 40 years later.
Probably wise. Yeah, and in fact, this new court seems to be judging the courts from, say, 30, 40 years ago,
The
to your
pendulum
point.
swings.
So we got to hit this top of the hour break. First, this part of the program brought to you by Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. And there at the Goodson Group, Bo and his team are ready to help you whether you're looking to buy or sell here in the River Region real estate market. Bo's been helping folks buying and selling here in the Montgomery and surrounding areas for over 4 decades, getting close to 5, actually. And there at the Goodson Group, not only can they help with buying and selling property, but they have management services available should you want to rent out your home, which is a great idea in this market with all that turnover there at the Air Force Base. And then the crown jewel there is the Bo Goodson Real Estate School, one of the most highly acclaimed real estate programs in the state, because Bo's seen it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly, that 40-plus years, and he can teach it to you direct. And there have been so many folks that have graduated from Bo Goodson's Real Estate School and gone into great success, whether it's fully licensed realtors or more knowledgeable private players. So check them out today. You can always go to thegoodsongroup.com or give them a call at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. Great sponsor here of the program.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Stott. Donald Trump wants his New York guilty verdict to go away after the Supreme Court's decision on presidential immunity. The former president's lawyers have sent a letter to the New York judge in his criminal case seeking permission to file a motion to set aside his guilty verdict. The letter cites this week's Supreme Court ruling and asks the judge to delay the former president's sentencing next week. A Texas judge ruling against the state attorney general in his effort to shut down a migrant shelter in El Paso that he claimed encourages illegal migration. Judge Francisco Dominguez ruled that Attorney General Ken Paxton's attempts to enforce a subpoena for records of migrants that are served at the Annunciation House violated the constitutional rights of the shelter. The Dow is down 15 points, the NASDAQ ahead 90. This is SRN News.
Government debt is now exploding by an unprecedented $1 trillion every 90 days. Think of that. It's a clear sign that our nation's finances are spinning out of control, and it's putting the savings of every one of you at risk. Hello, I'm Lance Wallnow, a news analyst and best-selling author and an evangelical leader. I'm deeply concerned about the impact this runaway debt is going to have on Christians like you who have worked hard to build your own nest egg for your family. To protect your financial future in these uncertain times, you need to diversify with something tangible and proven, like physical gold. That's why I recommend a gold IRA. To learn more, text FAITH to the number 989898, and my friends at Birch Gold Group will rush you a free info kit on how to move your IRA or 401k to physical precious metals, tax and penalty-free. So don't wait. Just text the word FAITH to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold Group is the only company I trust. There's no obligation. So text FAITH to 989898, and I pray this information helps you achieve prosperity and peace of mind.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
Hi, everybody. It is a routine 4th of July holiday week forecast. No surprises and nothing tropical for us to worry about. Random showers and storms will be around each day through Wednesday, mostly in the afternoon and evening hours. We'll be up to about 93 today, mid-70s tonight. Then the mid-90s return for Wednesday and 4th of July Thursday with triple-digit heat indices. Upper 90s on Friday and Saturday, and a routine beach forecast this weekend. Random storms here and there. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey Publix.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. Montgomery police have arrested a second suspect in a fatal shooting on Eastern Boulevard last month. 22-year-old William Melendez is charged with murder in the shooting death of 22-year-old Noel Albita Lopez on June 9th near the La Costa Mexican restaurant. A 17-year-old is also charged with murder in the case. An Atmore woman has been bitten by a fox that tested positive for rabies. The woman was unloading groceries from her vehicle Sunday when she was attacked and bitten by the rabid fox. The woman has since received appropriate medical treatment. The health department warns that rabies can be fatal if left untreated. A MS-13 gang member was sentenced to 2 years in prison Monday after being arrested in Alabama last year. 30-year-old Juan Carlos Portillo was convicted of illegal re-entry into the United States. Portillo is currently wanted in El Salvador for extortion, kidnapping, murder, and being a member of a terrorist organization. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
Hey, this is Randy with Super Phone Center on Burbank Drive. When we advertise with Blue Water Broadcasting, we get results. Spend your money where it counts. Blue Water Broadcasting.
Radio reaches over 90% of everyone in the river region. Shouldn't your ads be out there where your customers are? Call us to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
At Epicure and Jack's Tavern, every dish and sauce is freshly made in their kitchen, daily. No cans, no shortcuts, just pure, delicious food prepared with love. Experience the difference fresh ingredients make. Join them for a meal that tastes like home.
In your meal on a sweet note with their executive chef, Glenn Tarantino's homemade desserts at Epicure and Jack's Tavern. Indulge in unique creations that change daily because every meal deserves a happy ending. Sweet, savory, and everything in between. Experience the dessert delights at Epicure and Jack's Tavern.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better Business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Of course, we're calling this thing online Joey Clark Live. If you're just tuning in online, this is a humble talk radio show out of Montgomery, Alabama. And that brings me to the question that I posed at 1819 News this morning. Why is there a new statue of Danny Glover in Montgomery? You do have to wonder why. But, there's an old line attributed to Dr. King, quote, "I want young men and young women who are not alive today to know and see that these new privileges and opportunities did not come without somebody suffering and sacrificing for them." Now, that's attributed to, I've looked elsewhere, but it's attributed to Dr. King at the beginning of an episode of the Boondocks, particular episode called Return of the King. And, well, that's at least the first epigraph that begins that episode. Today, by the way, is the 60th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act being signed.
That's
so
right.
when Dr. King, whether that quote's true to him or not, sounds like him, these privileges and opportunities, that's what we're getting at. But let me read this. Again, if you want to read it for yourself, it's at 1819news.com under the title, "Why is there a new statue of Danny Glover in Montgomery?" "Have you seen this?" my radio co-host asked during a break, flipping his phone's face towards me. "Who's that?" I asked, squinting. "Where is that?" "It's a new statue in downtown Montgomery. People online are saying it looks like Danny Glover." Gesturing for him to hand me his phone, I peered closely at the photo, trying to recognize the sculpted figure. It certainly does look like Danny Glover. Yes, Danny Glover, the star from movies such as Lethal Weapon and The Color Purple, though I will always personally remember him from my childhood for his starring roles in movies such as Angels in the Outfield and Operation Dumbo Drop. Isn't it funny how icons are remembered differently in each person's memory? Our impressions of larger-than-life figures tend towards the idiosyncratic rather than the canonical, especially now in our tumultuous age of social media. No official narrative, political or religious, is sacred enough to be spared our real-time scrutiny online. We're all looking at the same screens, but we're definitely not watching the same show, let alone the same episodes. "It can't be Danny Glover," I say to my co-host. "Why would Montgomery put up a statue of Danny Glover? Who's it supposed to be? Martin Luther King Jr.? I'm not sure what it is about MLK statues that invite controversy, but I suspect it has something to do with everyone's own personal impression of the civil rights icon. Of course, Boston's memorial to Dr. King, a 20-foot-tall bronze sculpture called The Embrace, was brutally mocked upon its unveiling. Instead of capturing an iconic hug between husband and wife, many commentators were enraptured with laughter by how the massive memorial reminded them of genitals and various sex acts. Then there's the 30-foot-tall national monument to King in Washington, D.C., Stone of Hope, which caused quite a stir even before its completion, when a Chinese sculptor was picked to erect the massive granite sculpture. Outrage ensued over design and political concerns. MLK looked too Chinese. The sculptor, who made statements at the time seeming to defend Mao, also used unpaid Chinese labor to craft the $110 million monument in Virginia. The controversy even continued after the monument's unveiling to much fanfare, like Barack Obama spoke, Aretha Franklin sang at its unveiling in 2011, as a poorly truncated quote attributed to King was eventually struck from the side of the monument in 2013. 10 years later, despite changes to earlier designs, Stone of Hope still looks more like Mao than MLK to me. Whatever they say, I tell my co-host, handing him back his phone, that ain't MLK. Apparently, it's supposed to be him if he was still alive today. Ah, well, then that's different. Gotta love counterfactuals. At least they make you think. Indeed, an entire corpus of art and literature has been derived from the question, what would so-and-so think and say of us today? Stare at any memorial long enough and you will begin to ask variations on the theme. What would George Washington think? What would Thomas Jefferson say? What would Abraham Lincoln or even Robert E. Lee think of us today? Speculations of what King may think or say are especially prevalent in today's politics. The arguments over MLK's legacy abound, especially claims to his moral authority, the political equivalent of solid gold. Every Martin Luther King Day, there are a predictable series of articles claiming that Dr. King was really a quote-unquote radical, especially towards the end of his life, writes Coleman Hughes. The subtext of these articles is that if Dr. King were alive today, he would support the policies and the rhetoric advanced by today's anti-racist radicals, people like Ibram X. Kendi and Robin DiAngelo. King's legacy, they argue, has been sanitized, co-opted, and weaponized by conservatives and moderates. Hughes continues, this argument relies on a bait and switch. The areas in which Dr. King could rightfully be called a radical were twofold. Economics and foreign policy. He favored policies like universal health care and guaranteed federal employment. And he strongly opposed the Vietnam War, positions that were considered radical in the 1960s. Whatever you think of those positions, neither of them pertain to the topics on which he is alleged by modern commentators to have been a quote-unquote radical, namely the importance of our common humanity and the goal of transcending race. If it strikes you as odd that today's anti-racists sound nothing like Dr. King, yet claim his mantle, it should. They do not carry his mantle, writes Coleman Hughes. They enjoy the moral authority of being seen as the carriers of his legacy while simultaneously betraying the very ideals that he stood for. Now, that's just a taste of the arguments over King's legacy. But to Hughes' point, most contemporary claims made about MLK are naked and shallow, often lacking nuance and art. But such naked shallowness is not true of the Boondocks episode, Return of the King. The scathing award-winning satire may very well be the definitive treatment of the question, what if MLK was alive today? A man-out-of-time story, it is less a memorial to the past, and more an unsparing mirror for the present. The plot and commentary, penned by Aaron Magruder, deftly dissect early 21st century America, with MLK as the scalpel. I will not attempt to characterize the episode any further, as it speaks for itself and should simply be watched. Maybe if there's ever a live-action reproduction, Danny Glover should portray MLK. Until that day comes, you'll just have to visit downtown Montgomery to see Glover cast as an elderly king. Upon visiting, you can laugh, cry, reflect, argue, or sing. But whatever you do, when it comes to the suffering and sacrifice of the past, never just shrug and say, whatever. 272-9228 if you want to get in on that. And have y'all seen this downtown yet in person?
Not in person.
I haven't seen it, but I've been doing a little research on the designer. And
yeah.
He's got a few Dr. Martin Luther King statues under his belt.
Yeah.
So you would thought that he might have a little bit more practice.
Well, it seems like this is like if he was still alive today sort of thing, which is like, okay.
Yeah, but
there's a lot of open territory in that regard.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's hard to see. Maybe I just don't have the vision, but it's hard to look at that statue and say that's MLK Jr. It's just me. Because everything
it's not just you.
It's not my whole life.
It's not just
not
you.
That.
No, and hey, we're not the ones that came up with that's Danny Glover. That was the internet's choice.
I literally got that off
reacting in real time.
But there's also comments about Rosa Parks and her statue.
She's sitting, but it's like there's no seat, so she's like levitating.
Yeah, and I guess again it's an interpretation there, but
well, and by the way, in that Boondocks episode, the dad's like, I was sitting right next to her, and she gets all the credit.
Okay, so I started watching the Boondocks again, and my wife caught me, and she said, "You need to stop watching it because you're gonna get in trouble."
What?
Because
just don't quote it, man.
Well, there's an issue right there.
Or quote it very carefully,
right.
like I did.
Right.
Oh no, that's just a great show to revisit, and talk about radical. But I enjoyed it. It does make you think and makes you laugh.
It does, but it's a show. Honestly, there are times when I'm really enjoying it, and then I just get really embarrassed. I'm just like, oh.
That's what good satire does. Yeah. It takes you to a place where you're laughing, and you're like, oh, this is uncomfortable.
Right. Mm-hmm. You're yes, and it does that a lot. But that's good. I mean, it's a good exercise, no doubt.
So no, I need to get down there because I think I saw Rosa Parks in person, the statue down. In that area, I guess where that's right next to the Biscuit Stadium. Yes. It's this new downtown. It's like a wide grassy area that they're going to keep adding more statues. I think a statue of John Lewis is coming.
Wait, did they move the one that was kind of by the fountain? Or is that the one you're talking about?
No, there's one still
one
there.
By the fountain, standing, yeah.
Yeah, but no, this is a different one.
That's the one I actually see people take pictures with on the regular.
The one by the fountain? Yeah. Oh, no, that's the one Bert Kreischer got down and kneeled in front of. And
what's the, is it someone's random Bible? Oh, no, it's not random, but someone's Bible in one of the like little cases close to the Rosa Parks statue. There's maybe 30, 45 feet from there.
I don't know that one.
I'll show it to you one day.
Okay, yeah, let's go do a tour of downtown.
Yeah, it's just odd. It's just
food tour.
Yeah, we can do a food tour.
I know a couple good spots.
No, I should probably re-look at Montgomery's downtown without being drunk. Because all my memories are from my 20s, and I had friends that lived in lofts above the bars. And
Well,
man,
also
had
the
fun.
pub crawl times down there too.
Yeah, it's changed a little bit.
Yeah.
No, and it is good. Montgomery downtown's, I think, changed a little bit, and I think it is going in the right direction. Cloverdale, right? The strip is looking rough over there, like the true old Cloverdale, but it's coming along.
Part in our progress. We're trying to make some improvements.
Yeah, it's coming along. No, and the Capre's still open, the bars are still open, but
tearing buildings down.
But there's a few shops there that, when is Chuck's ever going to come back?
Word on the street is probably another 3 to 6 months. But
yeah, because that place is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went there many a time with Mr. Campbell. Let's go to Steve. Hey, Steve, how you doing?
Doing great. You know, normally when you have a president that is at full capacity, people do blame him for all the policies and everything. But what I don't get with these average people, these morons that are voting for him, do they think that the policies are going to get any better if they change somebody out? You'll have somebody in there at least that could make decisions, but I mean their policies are going to get more and more radical. It's just like the people that are in California, they're fleeing California, then they go to Texas or somewhere else and vote for somebody else of the same party, and they're the ones that are causing the problems. But all this goes back to those two justices. Just what a mess two people can make of this country. Thank you, Brett Kavanaugh. Thank you, Amy Coney Barrett. Y'all are just garbage as far as I'm concerned.
Well,
they could have done the right thing, and that right thing's not trying to bail Trump out of everything, but to allow federal things to be enacted at state levels, or to say that electors from one state don't affect the federal election. They're disenfranchising a lot of legitimate voters, and it was definitely stolen. There is no question about it. I think people are waking up to that now. It's a little late, but they're waking up.
Well, and to your first point, it's a fantastic point that we get caught up on the personality, and you really, especially with the Democratic Party at the high levels, they're more an avatar of the party and the groupthink. That it very rarely is there a leader that gets everything they want, especially in that party.
Mm-hmm. They're being run by committee, and Obama's the chair.
Yes, I think he has a prominent spot on that committee for sure. I appreciate the call, Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Let's go to line 4. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, this is T. Spear.
Hey,
and
T.
I have
Spear.
a question.
All right.
First of all, I want to wish everyone a very happy Independence Day. Remember why this country is here and who fought for it, and how much our right to our opinion. Second of all,
we're going to be working on that internet for you, T-Sphere.
Stephen Reed is putting into downtown. How's that going to help the violence downtown? How's that going to deal with the crime?
I don't think the
city
isn't
doesn't
with
isn't paying
the
for
statute
this.
there.
Yeah.
That's
This is
equal justice. I believe.
EJI. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Equal justice needs to look at the number of black people that have been killed by other black people in Montgomery, making it such that other people don't want to come to Montgomery. They should be looking at that and saying, maybe we ought to support the law enforcement in this town. Maybe we ought to figure out a better way of taking care of the criminal element in Montgomery instead of putting up another statue for some pigeon to sit on and poop on.
Well, that's their, that's why
Their
they
money.
exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate the call, T-Spear. Let's go to Red Top. Hey, Red Top.
Hey, guys. When I was at the Louvre in Paris, and I was walking down the steps, and there was Michelangelo's David right in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't thinking or wondering if he looked exactly like David, or if he looked Italian or Greek. I saw a great piece of art. Y'all picking these statues apart, and to do a statue in bronze of a black person is extremely hard, guys. Where in the hell is your contrast coming from?
Wait, who was David based off of? Michelangelo's David?
I think one of his models or one of his subjects in his studio. His face.
David from around the street.
Oh, right. No, but wasn't he going essentially for the ideal, like the Apollo idea?
Adonis or whatnot.
Oh yes, and that's that's why Europeans look so damn good, is because they look like the statues that they have all around. They ain't got no statues of fat people hanging around, by the way.
There are some Italian ones who are like, dadgum, that lady's thick.
Yeah, why didn't they put the extra 15 or 20 pounds on the statue? You know, he would have had some weight on him.
If he got older?
Yeah. You guys don't know Europeans. They don't have body fat. These people.
I didn't know Martin Luther King Jr.
They
was
walk
European.
everywhere. They're so damn healthy, it's ridiculous. So, yeah, and they're tough too, because it's cold in Europe. Now, hey, can I change the subject real quick?
Yeah, why not?
More pressing. The Chinese accidentally launching a rocket. Yeah, that's to be of concern, and it was a big bubba too that could have reached the United States. And second of all, China is practicing some extremely dangerous stuff on the moon that could really damage American equipment. They're using 2-stage rockets on the moon for descent. And what's going to happen is, see, the Chinese have a base on the moon already. They've already brought back some samples about 3 weeks ago from the dark side of actual glass globules that have water in them.
Mm-hmm.
So what the deal is when they land on the moon, they let this second stage just float around. Well, they could easily have it hit any American installation on the moon. And what China is doing now to slow down America's progress on getting and feeding on the moon is they're starting wars all over the places, supplying weapons and technology to all these countries, starting all these wars to cut the NASA budget. So their strategy, as part of the China 2025 strategy, is very dangerous. And I don't think this accidental launching of weapons is not very kosher. Roll Tide, go Trump. Thank you.
What do you know about the China 2025 agenda or plan?
I don't know. But I appreciate the more pressing issue being brought up.
Question for you.
Sometimes, why do we even go to the frickin'
out of the blue, and sorry for the thing on the statues.
Just idiots.
Why or
more?
Who could we pick that's kind of similar to Mel Gibson, that we could get a Mel Gibson statue made? You think we could do like a young Bear Bryant as Mel Gibson? Because I really want the Danny Glover, Mel Gibson like confusion for the tourists. Like,
so it's like
they have
we're getting a double
Mel
hit.
Gibson, though?
So we're getting
80s Mel Gibson.
Got to be
that. Right?
So we're getting football fans. We're getting civil rights like tourism, and we're getting fans of Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, I just want to. I want to say that it's like a young Bear Bryant and have him look like the 1988.
He have some hair on him.
Yeah, a little bit of hair.
Yeah, like Mel Gibson in Hamlet.
Yeah, I mean, let's do this.
I like this. Yeah, we need statues that have like double meaning, so you get more bang for your buck.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a whole cottage industry out there just waiting.
Goodness gracious. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Oh, my God. Hang on a second. I got to make this phone go away. Are you still there?
We're still here.
Okay. That thing will just have to beep in the background. My apologies. This is TS.
Hey, TS.
Okay. I'm not being ugly to Red Top or anybody else in the world.
Bring it.
The last time I saw Michelangelo's David, he was in Florence, Italy. And if they moved that big boy, whoo, that would have been like the Trojan horse.
Can we get some art research here? Where's the
when
David
he said
been?
the Louvre, I was like,
I mean, it might have been a while ago. It could have been.
I thought there was a joke coming there.
Hey, I'm not picking on Red Top. And then I forgot the other thing. I guess I'll have to call you guys back after I finish eating this mac and cheese.
All right.
Thank you for your
Are you
time.
are in one spot? Or are you on the go eating mac and cheese?
No, I'm just kind of at my desk, but I've been on the go.
Okay.
I can eat mac and cheese on the go.
You
But
can?
this
Yeah,
stuff
good
is
thick mac and
hot.
cheese.
This
Yeah.
is buffalo chicken, hot mac and cheese.
Ooh.
My lips are on fire.
Ooh.
All right.
Ooh. Okay, but I'll think of the other thing and call you guys back.
Okay.
All right, TS.
Thank you, TS.
Take it on.
So TS is in the lead, 1-0 on art history.
Mm-hmm.
We'll keep a running tab on this.
No, I don't know. Like, it's just sometimes Red Top says things, and sometimes he's right. Just sometimes I'm like, I don't even know what to say to all that. 272-9228. How about we hit a break? But first, this part of the program brought to you by a brand new sponsor, Smokehouse Pit Barbecue.
Oh, Joey.
A true institution, folks, here in the area. They, of course, are on Main Street in Millbrook.
That's right.
And daggum, it's good.
You can smell it before you get there. It's
And
so good.
I really encourage you to stop by for breakfast. Eddie and I did that the other day.
Yep.
We need to do it again soon, very soon.
And remember to invite me.
Yeah, Byron, you gotta try those cheese grits.
Cheese grits, man. Like I said, I've tried to copy them.
I plan on trying just about everything.
But then you'll need the Fat Boy breakfast.
Yeah, it's a huge sampler.
We could probably all get the Fat Boy
Yeah.
breakfast.
Oh, and the biscuits are fantastic. Like, I couldn't choose. I kind of want a fried bologna biscuit just to do it. Probably be great.
You know it would be.
I went with bacon, egg, and cheese, along with the big old bowl of cheese grits. I'm telling you, folks, there at Smokehouse, the breakfast is a destination. You need to get by there some morning very soon. And, of course, in the evening time, they often have entertainment heading into the weekends.
That's right.
Open bar, and, of course, all those great fixins you know and love there at Smokehouse Barbecue. So get by there soon. Get by there today. And tell them that, hey, Joey and Eddie and Byron, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
For over 40 years, Headley Plumbing has been fixing the river region's plumbing problems with fast, affordable service. The pros at Headley are ready to respond anytime you need help, and they charge fair rates for their expert service. They help river region homes and businesses every day, from repairing leaky faucets, septic tank service, replacing damaged sewer lines, or just unstopping a blocked drain. Trust the experts at Headley Plumbing. Call 285-3667. Headley Plumbing, 285-3667. Remember Headley's motto, in our business, a flush beats a full house.
Headley Metal Buildings has been your source for quality metal buildings in the river region since 2007. Carports up to 24 feet wide, RV covers, storage buildings, even a sturdy metal barn up to 54 feet wide. Your structure can be customized, installed on level ground, and comes with a 20-year warranty. Let Headley Metal Buildings help you find the perfect solution. Financing available. Call 285-3667 for details or find Headley Metal Buildings on Facebook.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers. If you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
Hi, everybody. It is a routine 4th of July holiday week forecast. No surprises and nothing tropical for us to worry about. Random showers and storms will be around each day through Wednesday, mostly in the afternoon and evening hours. We'll be up to about 93 today, mid-70s tonight. Then the mid-90s return for Wednesday and 4th of July Thursday with triple-digit heat indices. Upper 90s on Friday and Saturday, and a routine beach forecast this weekend. Random storms here and there. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
John Bobo with Capital Tractor. Don't miss our great package deal right now on a 25 horsepower Kubota tractor with front end loader and more. All for 0% APR 84 months with approved credit.
Now through September 30th, 2024. See Capital Tractor or go to KubotaUSA.com for more details.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 334-272-9228. If you want to get in on the conversation, let's go right to the phones and go to East of the Rockies. Hey, East.
Hey, good afternoon. I was tickled by Red Top's absolute assertion that Europeans would have no body fat.
Yeah.
I watched Casablanca this past weekend, and Sidney Greenstreet had body fat. That was not a suit he was wearing. Neither was he wearing it on the Maltese Falcon, but maybe because he's English, he doesn't count as a European. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, he was a little, very chubby, especially in the Maltese Falcon.
Oh, yeah, he was husky, right?
Yeah, husky's one word.
Athletic. That's the polite thing to say. He's got an athletic build. So, hey, just remember, Eddie, it's not a dad bod, it's a father figure.
Reminds me of a song. Appreciate it. Thank you, East.
See ya.
272-9228. Now, as people are getting ready for this big holiday weekend coming up, gas prices going up.
Naturally.
Increase at the pump.
Mm-hmm.
Gas prices increased today ahead of the July 4th holiday. The average price for a gallon of regular gas rose to $3.50, according to AAA. It was the first increase in 2 days. A week ago, the average price for a gallon was $3.46, really $3.47. A month ago, it was $3.53. A year ago, it was, again, about $3.53. California had the country's most expensive gas on Tuesday, with a gallon of regular gas costing $4.79. Do you do regular 87?
Oh, yeah, I'm cheap.
Yeah, mine's calls for 89 grade.
Hey, I do love the spin that some of the more liberal media outlets take. CBS is July 4th gas prices hit lowest since the past 3 years for the 4th of July. So stretch back a whole 3 years. This is the lowest they've been on the 4th, man. Another sign Biden's working.
Yeah. It's just
I'm telling
not
you.
going in the right direction. And if you add to this, there's a huge write-up today about EV charging stations. Now, I am seeing more Teslas around Montgomery. I have to say, I kind of like the look of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't imagine, like, if you go to Target usually has them. That's where you usually see all the Teslas. That's where the big Tesla charging stations are. But the state of EV charging in America, Harvard research shows that chargers are only 78% reliable and pricing is like the Wild West. So as folks think about, am I going to move to an electric car? One thing you have to think about, even if you're just getting around town, is how the heck do I charge this thing? I guess at home, if you got the money to set up your own thing there. But new data-driven research by Harvard Business School, a fellow there, reveals a significant obstacle to increasing electrical vehicle sales, decreasing carbon emissions in the United States. Owners deep frustration with the state of charging infrastructure, including unreliability, erratic pricing, and lack of charging locations. The research proves that frustration extends beyond range anxiety, the common fear that EV batteries won't maintain enough charge to reach a destination. Current EV drivers don't see that as a dominant issue. Instead, many have charge anxiety, a fear about keeping an EV powered and moving. The research is based on a first-ever examination of more than 1 million charging station reviews by EV drivers across North America, Europe, and Asia, written over 10 years. A pretty heavy-duty research. You didn't just ask a few people. In their reviews, these drivers described how they regularly encountered broken and malfunctioning chargers, erratic and secretive pricing, and even quote-unquote charging deserts, entire counties in states such as Washington and Virginia that don't have a single public charger, and that have even lost previously available chargers. EV drivers also routinely watch gas engine vehicle drivers steal parking spots reserved for EV charging.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that.
This researcher said that listening to the current drivers, owners, rather than potential buyers, provides a new window on the state of America's charging system because drivers are incredibly candid about their experiences. It's different than what any one company or network would want you to believe. So what we're finding is, EV chargers are still much less reliable than going to the gas pump.
Especially whenever they have the precious metal stripped out of them, right? So then they're 0% effective.
Yeah, get that copper, baby.
So those repairs fall on federal government, municipalities.
That's a problem.
Who ponies up for that? I mean,
or the companies, maybe even themselves.
Well, we do somewhere down the line, but
somebody like an Elon Musk says you don't need all these subsidies and cronyism to get this job done.
Agreed on everything.
Over $40 billion spent? How many EV charging stations have been actually put up with $40 billion?
We had to create the economies of scale so that people would get to these electric vehicles. Man.
It's just absurd. It's absolutely absurd. But one of the study's main findings, they discovered using customized artificial intelligence models trained on EV review data, is that charging stations in the U.S. have an average reliability score of only 78%, meaning that about 1 in 5 don't work. Now imagine, if you're going to stop at a gas station on a trip, and 1 in 5 gas stations just don't work.
You fill up really good before you go.
Yeah.
Welcome to Joe Biden's America.
Yeah.
They are, on average, less reliable than regular gas stations. The researcher here for Harvard Business says, imagine if you go to a traditional gas station and 2 out of 10 times the pumps are out of order.
You wouldn't go to that station no more, yeah.
Yeah, consumers would revolt, is what he says. Elizabeth Bruce, director at Microsoft Innovation and Society, said this project is a great example of how increasing access to emerging AI technologies, thanks for that. But today there are more than 64,000 public EV charging stations in the U.S., according to the U.S. Department of Energy's Alternative Fuels Data Center. They got a freaking center and agency for everything.
Yeah.
Experts say that the nation needs many times more to make a smooth, sustainable, and equitable transition away from gas-powered vehicles and to minimize the anxiety surrounding EVs.
Except the mass majority of Americans do not want to go to EV vehicles.
No.
We're very happy with our gas-powered vehicles.
Right.
So, again, consumers don't want them. Automakers are tired of making them. I think there's been 3 that have gone under now.
And what's the cheapest EV?
I think Tesla's cheapest one is 36 or 46.
That ain't cheap.
No. Not for what, and
that's probably the base
in your
level.
home.
Right.
I mean, you got to fill it up at home.
So it's just cost prohibitive to get involved with this. If you're somebody who's already driving around an $80,000 truck and you're kind of interested in the new tech, go for it, man.
Yeah, I'm all about it. If I had the money, I would have a Tesla just for the
Instead of buying a BMW, I'm going to go with the Tesla.
Right.
But the average person,
especially here in Alabama,
$36,000 at starting that's a heck of a lot of money.
Yeah,
it's more than the Kia I got.
Yeah, that's the baseline. Mostly black spaces on your
I'll
car.
admit, I'm driving yesterday on Taylor Road, and this car, I see it in my side view, rolling up, and I'm like, what the heck is that sexy machine right there? It was I believe a Kia EV.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, okay, they're making them where they look pretty daggum cool. But
dude, it's just a car body over whatever. So,
yeah,
I mean, you can make them as cool as you want. But the Cybertruck, I've seen it here in town, they're still ugly.
You don't like the Cybertruck?
It was really cool when it first came out, but then when you see that roll out the assembly line,
I like the customized ones. Like some people are like, oh, so ugly. Somebody made it look like it was a station wagon with the wood paneling. I was like, okay, that's freaking awesome.
That's pretty good.
Like, go camping in that thing. That's pretty cool right there.
But I've seen 2 silver ones and I think a black one. The black one looks a lot better.
Awesome. Yeah, I like the black one.
When the Oscar Mayer winter truck goes electric, then I'll buy in. But until that happens.
So here's some more from this EV research, and it is very in-depth here. It says reliability problems, like we're saying, Driver clashes. One consumer complaint that surprised the researchers was a mysterious gripe from drivers about getting iced. The researchers didn't know what it meant, so they did some digging and discovered that ICE, ICE, stands for internal combustion engine. EV drivers adopted the term to grouse about gas-fueled car drivers stealing their public EV charger spots for parking.
I see that sometimes, but then I see 30 other EV spots available.
Yeah. And then price confusion. Drivers are vexed by the pricing they encounter at public charging stations, which are owned by a mix of providers, follow different pricing models, and do not regularly disclose pricing information.
Ooh, so you don't know what you're getting?
The result is often surprises on the road, as one reviewer wrote, $21.65 to charge. Holy moly.
But how now did they give them a full charge? Because I've seen some where
which is
like,
reasonable.
They're 3 hours, but they only walk away with like half or a quarter charge.
Right. How long does it take to charge her? Can you get the supercharger station?
And that's probably a premium as well.
Right. And again, how many folks are out there? They're like, yeah, the tech's cool, but what is the actual buy-in here for me? And this idea that, we're saving the planet. Give me a break.
Nah, we're not saving the planet. On that, no.
Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Papa B.
Hey, Papa B.
You know, one thing I have an advantage of you guys over is age. I'm going to call it an advantage because, well, there's no other way to put it for me to make me feel good. You know, yeah,
keeping it real.
I'm telling you, man. Well, so since I have the advantage of age, I can remember when they tried this before. These electric vehicle things. They called it the Electra, I believe. Back in the 70s, maybe. I don't really recall, but I believe it was, during the Carter era or something like that. And, oh, man, this was supposed to be it. And, of course, they wouldn't go farther than basically an electrical cord could connect to them. And so they wound up with all this inventory that they had paid all these auto manufacturers to create that they couldn't sell. And so they wound up in the desert, stacked one on top of another, just tens of thousands of useless vehicles. So, I guess here they just won't learn their lesson. You can't force demand on people.
Right.
Now, if you want to come up with an electric vehicle that's going to get me down the road like a full tank of gas will, and I can fill up again, cheaper, really, at least as cheap.
Cheaper and hopefully just as quick.
Yeah.
That's right. I mean, it takes about, what does it take, about 5 minutes to fill up, maybe?
That,
yeah. So, okay, I'm in, but, they can't do it, and they're not going to be able to do it. Electric vehicle, the technology for it just isn't there, and it's just not going to make it there. You can't force it to be there. By forcing everybody to get an EV, then I guess that's their theory. Well, then they're going to create the demand. No, it just doesn't work like that.
Don't work that way.
So, but, you can't talk sense to the brain dead, so you may as well just let them keep on banging their head on the wall. This is got another thing that's going to send them, into political oblivion, and I hope this time they stay there. Oh, by the way, this whole idea about the vote rigging and everything in 2020, everybody's right about that. Of course, it's been pointing out all these things that have gone wrong with it, but really, I lay it more at the feet of John Roberts than anything else. I talked about this, Joe, you probably recall when Dan was still hosting the show right after the election. John Roberts was the one that allowed all of these mail-in ballots.
Mm-hmm.
And so, then when all the inconsistent ballots, he just checked out. No, well, we're not going to do anything about it. He basically, and I said this before, he called himself, he wanted to be an umpire, calling ball and strike, But what he did there is he made a rule right in the middle of the game, and then as the umpire, he left the stadium.
Oh, yeah, they didn't want to touch it.
But that's what the rule was beforehand, right?
Yeah. I mean, let's toss this hand grenade of a rule out there and then see what happens. So, yeah, Alito was trying to do something about in Pennsylvania. He was trying to say, look, you can't do this. You can't do this. The ballot things against the state legislature. But the rest of the court wouldn't support him. You know, maybe Roberts was in on it. I don't know. I would say that.
We lost you, Bob.
There you go. There you go.
I think half our listening audience is
I appreciate the
the
call.
lake.
Yeah. Well, I remember way back, Robert's the one that upheld the individual mandate with Obamacare.
That's right.
And, you know, that whole argument over it's just a fee. It's a penalty fee that you have to pay if you don't get health insurance. And then the court goes, well, actually, it's a tax, and you have ultimate taxing power, and that's why it's upheld. And that's when folks like Dan Morse used to say, what does John Roberts and a goat have in common?
I mean, honestly, I'm just glad that we can finally, according to the court, say that a fee and a tax is the same thing.
Well,
Because I've been saying that for years.
Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Gentlemen, hey, it's Jamie. How are y'all doing?
Hey, Jamie, how you doing, buddy?
Man, I know. Obviously, we're at a political crossroads, but you still got to love America. I got to go on a tirade here about the electric vehicles for a second. You know, unless we're all horrible historians here. Last time I checked, it was the steam engines, it was diesel, it was that's what powered America, right? And the 19th and 20th centuries, and I mean for that matter, you had the Industrial Revolution, right? And I think it's important to have competition, to have electric vehicles or even hybrids. Great, okay. I mean, I'm not saying I'm some farm expert, but as somebody that grew up in rural East Alabama, West Georgia, we have family that has a ton of property. I cannot imagine running your property, running a farm, especially these bigger guys, 10, 15, 20,000 acre farms, even larger, on electric vehicles. We wouldn't get anything from farm to market. And, I mean, to think about John Deere is packing their stuff up, and also John Deere's been testing these these prototypes, and they're breaking down. I have a friend that was in logistics, and somebody came to him and said, hey, we'd like to test out an electric Type 18-wheeler. This thing literally broke down and could not even pull it slow, but yet they're going to force this down our throat.
Yeah, and driving on a smooth paved road is quite different than, say, farm work, too.
I was going to say, yeah, right, or ice road truckers, or, one of those electric vehicles hits ice or snow, that's it, man. We're not getting, logistics is bad enough in this country as it is. Go ahead and throw the electric component. And I'm not poo-pooing it if somebody wants to drive a Tesla, but I just looked up right before I called in. U.S. News and World Report said the batteries on those to replace are anywhere from like $6,000 to $20,000.
Yeah, they just advise you buy a new car
at that point.
That's what they advise you to do. Yep.
Man, I don't know. I was feeling hot today. So, but anyways, guys, if there's nothing else we can all agree on, we still love this country. And I live about 15 minutes from Arlington Cemetery. If I rode over there right now, I'd probably cry.
There you go.
I mean, and that's what this country's built on.
Well, hey, man, what are all the free and brave individuals up in Virginia doing this weekend?
Hopefully not protesting.
Good point.
Appreciate the call, Jamie.
Thanks, Jamie.
He does have a point on the whole technology and where it is. And maybe we shouldn't even start with the major farm equipment. Like whenever Eddie can pop a beer and cut his grass with an electric vehicle, lawnmower, and actually make it around the front yard 5 or 6 times without having any problems.
There is an electric lawnmower that Eddie's interested in. It's the autopilot one. It's got a little doghouse and everything. It just does it on its own. I can sit on the porch and watch that mow my grass. I think that's great technology.
Whenever the tech gets there, that the entire industry goes that way. That's my point. If we can't do that, how do we expect to do this?
Well, I knew a guy named Pete like years ago who rigged up a Roomba.
Yeah.
And he's way ahead of the curve.
That's it. But people aren't thinking about when it comes to electric vehicles. For one, the weight. They weigh a lot more than a normal vehicle, and the fire. Talk to your local fire department. Ask them what do they do when a Tesla catches on fire. A lot of times they just have to stand back and watch it burn because they don't have the equipment to put it out.
I guess they're not calling our police department to come help.
Maybe to direct traffic. That'd be about it.
And by the way, I just made up the Roomba thing. I don't know a Pete, and I wanted somebody to take that idea and try to make it happen.
I was just thinking it might be a little gas-powered Roomba.
Yeah,
really clean in-house.
Let's hit a quick break. We'll be right back. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Make 2024 the year you break away from the chain stores and join us here at Adams Drugs. We value your business and want to provide you the best customer service at the lowest possible price. We've been serving up excellent customer service here in the River region for over 62 years.
I made the swap to Adams Drugs and I couldn't be happier. Having a job and then getting 3 kids to all of their activities keeps me busy. I don't have an hour to waste waiting on a prescription. At Adams, they know me and my family. I get in and out in minutes, and when I can't get by Adams, they'll bring the prescription right to my door.
What are you waiting for? Come in to Adams Drugs and let us earn your business. Our friendly and personal staff will talk with you and answer any questions you may have about your prescriptions. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local independent Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with an update on the real estate market in the River region. Sales of homes for the last 5 months will top 1,900 homes. Even though sales are slightly lower, the average sales price is still climbing. First-home homebuyers comprise over 34% of all sales, with no slowdown in sight for them. We now have more homes on the market in all price ranges, which gives buyers more choices than they've had in over 2 years. Some helpful suggestions for today's homebuyer would be: 1. Work with a local lender for your loan approval. 2. List 3 must-haves for your new home and seek to find properties to match your needs. 3. Work with an experienced and knowledgeable real estate agent to help you with your search, your showings, and receive advice on offers and negotiations. 4. Always use a licensed recommended home inspector when you find the home you choose. For all the details, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225.
It's time to butter up with Biscuits Baseball. Join us to celebrate 20 years of Biscuits at Riverwalk Stadium. Check out biscuitsbaseball.com for all of our day of the week promotions, including tacos at Tall Boys on Tuesdays, Military Wednesdays, Thirsty Thursday, Max Fireworks Saturdays, and Low Crumb Sundays presented by Go Fish Alabama. For tickets and more information, visit biscuitsbaseball.com. Call the box office at 323-BALL. Butter up.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right back to the phones and talk to Sam. Hey, Sam, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for taking my call. Hey, gentlemen, enjoying the show. And I love that shirt, Eddie. It does put you in the mood. The 4th of July festive mood.
I was told by several people today I was dressed very festive.
That's it. Straight out of the picture store, man. It's really.
Sam, are you battery powered?
At the moment, this phone, yes, I am. But vehicle-wise, no, man. You know, and it just, I had a memory, Joey. That's usually why I call in most of the times. Is you hit a memory. Years ago, a place that I was hanging around, our smaller fork truck, the small one that we had, it was battery powered.
Mm-hmm.
And that was part of my routine. I made sure that once a week I went by and
check the water level.
Yeah, that's right. Check the water level. I'd go through at least a gallon of distilled water. Made sure the charger there was on charge every night, so we would have it the next morning. But good old cheap lead acid batteries, and but you had that maintenance component. The lithium, the maintenance is taken away, but it's just so dang expensive. And like you said, when if they ever catch on fire. But I was thinking, there's some redneck out there that's already planning to get them a Tesla and replace a worn-out battery, just fill it up full of lead-acid battery. So I'm looking. I don't know, man.
There's one guy.
It's all about the batteries, bro.
Well, and I believe with Tesla, if you try to do anything to it, your warranties are
They won't even work on your car anymore. There's one guy out in California that'll work on cars that Tesla has sworn off.
There was
one guy, literally one guy, got a YouTube channel. Fascinating. That's where I found out a ton of stuff about Tesla. But they're very strict about their stuff. Very.
But that's it though. I just had that about the lead acid batteries. The good, plentiful, cheap, but that extra added maintenance component and the size. It's just inconvenient, man. Yeah.
Well, and then when that battery went dead, it wasn't like
Yeah.
you could just get some gasoline and pour it in there and
Right.
start it up. You had to sit there and wait for it to charge. And if you did the fast charge, that was great. It charged faster, but you didn't get near the life out of the service of the fork truck, and then it also did wear and tear on the battery.
Well, I got to run, Sam.
Okay. Hey, thanks for taking my call, guys.
See you, buddy. He was fork truck certified. I could tell.
Yeah,
I could tell neither one of you boys are fork truck certified.
You fork truck
Damn right I am.
certified?
Got the card in my pocket.
Man, Power Wheels, electric vehicle. Man, I had one of those like 30 years ago or 40 years ago.
Have you seen what they do now? They take the DeWalt batteries and they put them in there, and that little thing will run 30, 40 miles an hour.
I mean, we're
Yes.
fighting this. We grew up with it, man. You remember the little Bigfoot Power Wheel you had?
See, you guys were
rolling
spoiled.
around?
We had a big wheel. We had a pedal.
No, I'm
or if
still,
we're really cool like me,
we
I had a
gotta
green
hit our
machine.
top of the hour break, but I'm still stuck on you, like being all like just lay it out on the table, plop. I am fork truck certified.
Yeah, it's a big thing here. None of you boys are. If somebody
I've
come
never
in
had
here
a
and said,
reason
"I need
to
somebody
operate a
drive
fork truck."
Oh, no. I can
I'd be
drive
like,
a lift. I'm not
you can drive it.
certified.
I'm sure y'all can drive it. But if you're not fork truck certified, then no, you can drive that lift illegally. That's what
Yeah.
you can do. Yeah.
Like most
Well, I
of my
can
drivers.
Like you've never done that.
That's besides the point, Joey. We're talking about now that I'm legal.
He's talking about us.
Thank you. Thank you, Byron.
Hey, I know we're going to
What,
the
do you get the
top-
permit from the sheriff's office?
I want to mention this just to watch his response, and I know we got a break coming up, so to be fun.
Mhm.
Are you ready for your next vaccine? Moderna just got a contract.
Are you kidding me?
The bird flu vaccine.
$176 million contract.
They're
Moderna just
developing the vaccine, Eddie.
because the bird flu is really breaking out of the cage.
So we haven't learned anything? I mean, it's what you're saying. Because I still hear the vaccine commercials, which just drive me nuts. I become the old man yelling at the
Yeah,
TV.
I know, man. Well, we do have to hit the stop the hour break. But first, this entire hour has been brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. You going to be okay?
Oh, no.
But think of like Kim and Madeline. Think about working with them.
I love
you know?
Madeline to death. She's one of the nicest people in the world. I talk to her on a regular basis. And even she would be upset about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And of course, they're at Alabama Home Mortgage. They can help you through the home buying process from pre-approval all the way to closing day. And of course, they can also help you if you're stuck under a mountain of debt.
Yeah.
If you want to get that off your back, because it's just weighing you down. You're barely making minimum payments. Like you're not even cutting into the interest that you're owing with what, 24% APR, 29%
That's
APR.
right, Joe.
If you have equity built up in your home, why not give yourself a new financial beginning? And they can help you do that there at Alabama Home Mortgage. And if you're a veteran, they are VA home loan certified. So they know the latest with the VA home loan programs. And these are the best deals in town when it comes to the mortgage market. And Kim and Madeline, if you're a veteran, they can help you take advantage of these benefits you earn through your service. So check them out today. You can always call them at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Like Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. U.S. job openings rose slightly to 8.1 million in May, despite the impact of higher interest rates. The Labor Department reported vacancies were up from a revised 7.9 million in April, the first reading below 8 million since February 2021. Layoffs rose slightly, and the number of Americans quitting their job, a sign of confidence in their prospects, is basically unchanged. Tesla's global sales fell for the second straight quarter despite price cuts and low-interest financing offers, another sign of weakening demand for the company's products and electric vehicles overall. The Austin, Texas company says sales were down 4.8% from the same period a year ago. On Wall Street, the Dow ahead 100 points and the Nasdaq adding 125. This is SRN News.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-0141. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-0141. That's 800-583-0141. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
Hi, everybody. It is a routine 4th of July holiday week forecast. No surprises and nothing tropical for us to worry about. Random showers and storms will be around each day through Wednesday, mostly in the afternoon and evening hours. We'll be up to about 93 today, mid-70s tonight. Then the mid-90s return for Wednesday and 4th of July Thursday with triple-digit heat indices. Upper 90s on Friday and Saturday, and a routine beach forecast this weekend. Random storms here and there. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Do you have big plans this summer? Dive into summer with an ASE Credit Union vacation loan. Whether you've got a trip coming up, projects at home, or just need a little extra cash, we've got you covered. So don't put your plans on hold. Visit yourasecu.com or stop by and see us today.
1819 News.
Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall and state lawmaker Susan DuBose held an informational meeting that was hosted by Moms for Liberty and Local Alabama. The goal of the meeting was regarding Title IX language that has been redefined by the Biden administration. The state of Alabama, led by AG Marshall, is currently in a legal battle with the Biden administration for the changes it made to the definition of sex to now entail gender identity. This would then require public schools and government agencies to accommodate a transgender person in areas that are traditionally single-sex spaces like locker rooms and bathrooms.
At the time that bill was passed in 1972, nobody disputed the fact that sex meant biological sex, as God created you. That was not even on the table. But yet we find that we're now having to litigate that again today.
I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
I'm Amy Beth Shaver with Alabama Unfiltered Radio, and when I need the news and I need it fast, I turn to Andrea Tice and the Daily Detail. On my way in, it is the most convenient, best way for me to digest what's going on so that I can use it for our show. She tells you what's going on in Alabama that day first and fast. So listen to the Daily Detail with Andrea Tice. Don't miss out.
The Daily Detail is available wherever podcasts are found.
The Mobile County Public School System says they will be implementing new measures to stop students from vaping in the new school year. There will be vape detectors installed that are able to differentiate between regular nicotine vapes as well as THC. School administrators told WALA News that some of the money to fund this project comes from a settlement that the state of Alabama reached with Juul Labs. Juul Labs produces vaping materials. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdit. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
After damning politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels, I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Final hour of the program. Short week. Only one more show to do.
That's right, Joey.
And I think Craig Monger is going to be joining us early in the week tomorrow. And yeah, I think our fourth mic there is working. So if you want to join too, you're welcome.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've got anything else going on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Actually, like, Eddie, try that mic real quick. Let's see how this goes here, folks.
How are we doing from here?
You know,
from there, it's not
now?
That's not bad.
Now, brown cow?
Actually, that's not too bad. I can understand you, yeah.
Okay. Good?
Yeah.
Even better?
No, way too much. Too hot, big boy. Too hot.
It was hot on me and Greg.
Too hot.
Yeah.
Speaking of too hot, Alabama is very well represented in a couple of upcoming pageants.
Oh, yeah, we were looking at and the real Miss Alabama yesterday, that nursing student from Auburn. Abby Stockard, I think is her name. She's a looker.
Two Auburn roommates represent state. Yeah. Miss America and Miss USA.
I didn't see the one who's in Miss USA.
Diane Westhoven.
Sounds like a strong name. From the Westhoven clan.
And Abby Stockard.
Yeah, Abby Stockard. We were talking about her yesterday. Yeah. So we could keep talking about that, but
what else is there to say?
Well, we've got like one of our radio station grandmothers on the line. Hey, TS, how you doing?
How dare you call me a mama?
Are you not one?
No, well, no, I'm not a mama.
He said to us, like
a
caring figure, and you look out for us.
Oh my, yeah.
Oh,
that's
okay.
Hoven indeed.
Oh, nice.
We're just looking at photos of the Miss USA representative.
Got my vote.
Good.
Look, I already heard you guys with all your testosterone stuff just going cray cray, but that's okay. You're guys.
That's right.
I remembered the second topic. Because I'm like, oops, I said my name. P.S. It has to do with money. It has to do with money. Do you know how much Nick Saban is getting paid from the Alabama football team, and they haven't even said what his title is yet?
They don't matter. It's Nick Saban. They just giving that man a blank check. It don't matter.
It's $500,000.
It's only $500,000?
That ain't enough.
It's only $500,000, and they haven't said
money well spent.
By the way,
there'll be some bonuses.
Let's hit pause for a second. Eddie, that was one of the most Alabama things you've said in a long time. The first time you said it, that don't matter.
It don't matter. It don't matter. It's Nick Saban.
He's the CEO of Alabama football.
Right.
And he will. Tells.
Seriously, he could be dictator of the state if he wanted to be.
Most people be like, yeah, all right.
We're
That's
not
our
about
guy.
dictators, but he could be.
No, he could be dictator.
Yeah.
That's why I said it that way.
No, We don't need dictators.
We got too many of them as it is.
Yeah, well,
There you
Augusta's
go.
wasn't too
Thank
bad.
you. So did you say I'm going to be on microphone 4 tomorrow?
Now I was inviting Byron to come back, so it's going to be a bunch of dudes in here.
Dude fest?
Do you ever want to stop by the studio and have some fun with us?
I would love to, but Greg would say no. She's too whiny.
It's okay. We got a whole show that he's not here for.
Yeah, I don't see Greg raising his hand one way or the other.
No, not right now.
Well, we'll just play the game, and I'll put on my alto voice. And,
Plus, what's wrong with you being whiny?
I don't
she's a
know.
woman.
Greg's just not. Greg likes me with just a little, like part of a frog hair.
Yeah,
Tolerate.
Honestly, TS, I've done this job long enough, and Greg's done it much longer than me. There are just certain days where you're like, just not today. Not today.
Oh, I
with
imagine
me.
so.
And
Well, I love him dearly. I don't care how he feels about me. I love him dearly. So it's really
I
doesn't
feel about
matter.
Greg too. I love him to death. I don't care how he likes me or not. I love him to
Eddie.
death.
Too high? Quit. All right, guys. I'll let you go.
Thanks, TS.
Thanks, TS.
Hey, I will say that being a guest host, kind of shaking the rust off a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One episode we did, passing in the hallways, King goes, "Good show." Made my day, man. Just made my day. Just to know that.
Greg said that?
Yeah.
Just know this. Know this. He doesn't say that to everybody.
Oh, I know. That's why it meant something.
I know some long timers around here that he just growls at.
Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Doesn't matter. So yeah. Auburn girls are hot. That's not a surprise.
Well, not all of
We
them.
got. Well, for my freshman year, I went to way too much college, and I went to Alabama first. I looked around, then I went to Auburn. I looked around, and the hotter girls were at Auburn, so I went to Auburn. And in fact, I ended up with one degree, that was just a collection of electives because I was following a hot girl around at registration.
Did it work?
Nowadays, they have laws against that, by the way. Stalker laws.
Well, I wasn't the only one in line, Eddie. We were all stalking her. And yeah, it did work. She's a very nice girl, Elizabeth. But
I remember the name.
Yeah.
But no, see, my thing was finance and economics, and I've got a third degree in psychology. I don't care about psychology. I'm going to drive drones to rehab. Come on. If you don't get a doctorate, you ain't doing nothing with that degree. Okay. And I think that's what she's doing. No, she married a doctor, actually. But anyway, so she didn't need to go to college. There's hot Alabama girls, but they don't go to college. It's just like there's a lot more Alabama fans, and they couldn't find the university or the library if they had to.
They go to the university. They just don't go to class. They're working on their MRS degrees.
Okay.
Yeah, and I remember being at Auburn. I remember a few years even working in radio. Who was it? It was Catherine something.
Webb.
Catherine Webb stopped by on Greg's show. And I always just hear that Tal Bachman song, She's So High Above Me.
So high.
And I just never, I'm like, that's not me. If you want to go slumming, yeah, you can hang out with Joey, especially back then. Dadgum.
Well, that's not why I called.
Okay.
So, all right, I called talking about the EV stuff. Okay, here's the deal. Now, this will happen. And, Sam called in about, what a redneck will do. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. But I'm more akin to being a redneck than anything. All right, so I'm too lazy to do it. I'm already retired. I don't care. I don't do anything. Whatever. So here's what will happen. Somebody's going to get like a big Ford 250 truck or something diesel with a trailer on the back. They're going to use not a standby generator, not one you can holler. I mean something you need that forklift driving thing to put on the back of it. You know the size I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Eddie and Joey and Byron and y'all are sitting in the radio studio working, or if you work for the state or you got a job somewhere, and while you're at work, then this person can pull up while you're at work and charge your vehicle for you and charge you by the hour.
Yeah, actually, that's kind of brilliant. Yeah.
I know it's brilliant. I come up with great ideas. I'm too lazy to do any of them. But if the EVs ever kick off, then I might set up something and hire some people to go out there and do it. And but yeah, so if it charges while you're at work, because the charging stations are going to steal all the copper and all that crap. But so this is a mobile charging station wherever you're at. When you work in Montgomery or you're at the base or whatever, can roll up and charge, because you're working 8 hours. It don't take 8 hours to charge them. And then you charge by the hour to charge it. Now here's the dichotomy on this.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you're driving an EV because you're trying to lower your carbon footprint.
Yeah.
I think that's the idea, right?
Yeah, save the
Okay.
planet.
And if you're using this big-ass diesel motor that doesn't have a catalytic converter or emissions control, you're kind of defeating the purpose, which is what stupid Democrats always do. They're idiots. Okay, talk to y'all later.
Well, and also the sources, like we still have a lot of coal power plants, natural gas. Like the point I made earlier, nuclear technology, nuclear energy has come leaps and bounds. And again, if you can miniaturize it and make it last for decades on an aircraft carrier or a sub, at some conference I went to, actually ran into a guy who was literally a nuclear energy scientist. And he's explaining, we've miniaturized it. Also, all the other stuff like meltdown, like Chernobyl, and all these other incidents people bring up, no, that's not a concern anymore. Like, we have all sorts of things that stop it. Why aren't we doing it? Like yesterday. It's kind of our government just screwing everything up.
But they're pushing
like even
EVs.
when they push an idea where I'm like, well, that's not a bad idea in general, but I know y'all are going to screw it up.
Let's spitball this a little bit further. All right. So say there was a catastrophe with your small little, nuclear battery or engine. What would that process or fallout be like? I mean, if it's so small, it could be contained. I bet you, and it might, be somebody in a suit come pick it up and put it in a.
Depends. If you're in an auto accident and say I hit you going 150 miles an hour, I don't know what that engine's going to do.
Be a little mushroom cloud right there at the end.
Don't know. I mean, honestly, don't know. Don't know. What if it happens to be over a creek and now I'm poisoning the creek?
Well, seeing as how we can't really drink or fish out of too many of our riverways now.
Last week, I believe I saw that the train company or somebody got them to admit, or somebody came up with the finding that, you remember the train that exploded outside East Palestine?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that the huge plume and it created darkness over the sky, and like Trump went to visit
for a month or so.
Yeah, and Trump kept making also like subtle jabs at how fat the mayor was.
Yep.
While he's also helping.
It's not European.
No doubt, obviously.
Well, the finding was that was not necessary for that train to stop there. Like they were saying, no, it was safety. We had to just stop. Like, no, y'all just picked the stop there and you ruined that town for generations. Because everything's
very red town too, if I
now.
remember. Very red town.
Oh yeah, and it's stuff like that where you go, that's criminal. Somebody's ass should be in jail or prison at least. And there's so much of that. I recently did rewatch The Big Short.
Mm-hmm. Dude, it should be
worse
required.
than prison, under the prison.
It should be required right now.
Don't you love the end where they go, but the system, it was cleaned up and so many people went to jail and all these magical things happened that would prohibit this from ever happening again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here we are.
Well, and the two, douchebags they go see who are doing like the ninja loans. Like, and it's just like no income.
Don't matter.
No credit verification.
Dude, all I need is you to fog this.
And so people were renting out homes too, and like not paying the mortgages. And it's just like, it's, we talked about this during COVID. Dr. Tankersley brought this up a lot. And it's also the truth when you look at Solzhenitsyn talking about the Soviet Union, or you look at how did Germany go the way they did. Some of it is massive technical mistakes with your money, with your government, all sorts of things. But it's everyday people accepting lies and everyday people accepting well, I'm not being like evil, but I'm just not being perfectly good either. Right. And that sort of thing just feeds on itself and creates these. And I think that's our problem right now. Is everybody kind of a little loosey-goosey when it comes to playing by the rules in a moral, ethical sense?
Yeah, it's like we just assume or want to believe that all these institutions are, ivory towers and not susceptible to corruption or greed or anything else. But going back to The Big Short, to me, the main villain in that movie, besides from the institutions, was that dear sweet lady at Moody's.
Oh, yeah, man.
How many rating agencies are there?
Like 3.
All right.
Right.
And what did she say?
If we don't give them the rating they want, they'll go to our competitors.
So they essentially have a monopoly on the ratings. And who are they worried about? The other 2 rating agencies.
Yeah, well, and the banks are essentially controlling all of that because they knew they could get away with it.
I guess my point is, if they had a monopoly on it and really didn't have that much to be concerned about and to be complicit or problematic even in the whole thing, then that should kind of tell you just like how much money and how cutthroat and how deep this problem really did run.
Oh, yeah.
From top to bottom, all of those people should have gone to jail.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And again, when I read the provision that carved out Bernanke, Paulson, and listed the few others that were by name not going to be, subject to criminal penalty or punishment, I was like, this is horrible, man. Yep. This needs to be struck. Yep. Past whatever else. But people need to be able to be held accountable.
Well, and I blame, like, the moral failing is everybody. Like, people want to put it on the fat cats, which, they deserve a lot of the blame. But the person who's just getting by, like, you don't have much income, if any, to speak of. And somebody offers you want this house? And you go, yeah, sure, it'll work out. It's like, no, you're making a very stupid decision if it's too good to be true.
It's Americans, man.
But that's the problem.
See it every day.
It's like you're a stripper. You can't afford 4 homes.
I can have a good weekend.
But why?
Right. I mean, that's literally.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, then these people who are the experts told me.
Well, not only that, same people that were selling the loan were betting against them. I want you to fail because I can pick this up in bankruptcy for pennies on the dollar. And it's just going to affect a couple of y'all. It's not going to affect the whole country. It affects the whole country.
Damn. We're in a tough spot.
It's easy. There's some very easy ways out, but with the administration we have in, not just currently, but our leadership in general, they don't want the easy way. They want to make sure their donors are getting their money, and they got to get their cut.
They want it complicated.
They do.
They don't want it easy because if it's easy, people can actually figure it out for themselves.
Tax code.
Mm-hmm.
Tax code.
272-9228. Happy Independence Day.
Blow me something up there.
Earlier we were talking about what would MLK think if he was alive today. Honestly, and I'm being serious here, not just appealing to the Boondocks and satire. I have a feeling he wouldn't be all that impressed.
No, he would not.
Heck, if you pulled the founders up from George Washington, Jefferson, Adams, they would be, I think they'd all be astounded by the tech. But morally speaking, they would look at folks in our government in particular and go, what the heck are y'all doing?
Call them treasonist.
All that may be true.
And by the way, all these folks that you took down my Robert E. Lee statue, and I'm not for taking down statues, just for the record. I wonder what Robert E. Lee would think of y'all today. He probably wouldn't be impressed either.
Right.
I just have a sense that a lot of our ancestors, especially the great men and women of the past, kind of look at today and the everyday person and be like, y'all almost have it too good.
I'd be willing to bet that they'd probably say something that a European would say, stupid, lazy Americans. I know a bunch of, some of my friends have pointed out part of our problems we're too affluent. We don't have to focus on the things that actually matter, working hard, to put food on the table and making sure our family's protected because somebody else has accepted that responsibility for them a long time ago or even a generation prior. White, black, doesn't matter. When people start getting handouts and not having to work for what they're supposed to have and be providing for their kids, that's the problem. That's what I don't identify with.
When I can bust my butt 80 hours a week and somebody that I know doesn't work and we live side by side and we got the same stuff, we have the same lifestyle. why the hell am I working 80 hours a week?
Brother, I was talking to somebody the other day that is a business owner, successful, EBT card.
Yeah.
Wow.
Taking advantage of the system.
Right.
If the money's there, I'm going to take advantage of it,
That's
quote
right.
unquote. Like you're part of the problem.
And yet, I don't think a lecture or a talking to everyday Americans is what's going to change much anything. And I say that as somebody who talks for a living. It's that opening scene of one of the early scenes in Pinocchio. Jiminy Cricket giving a big lecture. What, Jiminy Cricket's supposed to be his conscience?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't work that way. Especially kids, those of you who are parents, sometimes the kids just got to figure out the hard way.
That's very true.
And I think that's I know this makes everybody real happy. I think that's what America's going to have to go through.
A lot of the lessons as kids, even I learned, they were easy lessons. They were soft lessons. A lot of the hard lessons in life, I didn't learn until I got much older.
Well, and you think about the folks that did go through the Depression.
See, they learned those lessons very early on.
Man, my grandmother, one of the things I remember about her, and this is going to sound trivial, the lady wouldn't throw string away.
Yeah.
She had a spool that she would take the string and wrap around it for when she needed it.
And that's I run into people like that lived through the Great Depression, and they all have these little synchros like that where you're just like, where did that come from? And then they tell you their story, and you're like, oh, I get it. And you never outgrew that. You never outgrew that fear.
My granny had 9 toes.
What?
Granny had 9 toes. She cut her toe off chopping wood when she was 8 years old. I said, Granny, what did you do? What was her response?
Kept cutting wood.
Kept chopping wood.
Yeah.
And that's something on TikTok and on YouTube videos, you'll see Chinese kindergartners. And they show these classes, like there was one the other day, they were actually cooking. They were cooking. They weren't somebody doing it for them. Mm-hmm. The class, the 4 or 5 in each group were doing the cooking. And I look over and I'm like, I've got teenagers that I know that could not do that.
Most teenagers don't know how to use the washing machine because mama does it for them.
Very true. Very true. Again, lesson I learned the hard way.
But they know how to work that phone.
Yeah.
272-9228. And, there's going to be things that people will have to learn along the way. New things included. You can't just go back to the old ways.
Oh, you got to relearn.
In many ways, life is better today than it was 30 years ago, 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, clearly. But it seems like in the last few generations, let's say the post-war era, the sort of golden era from the post-war era is faded.
You said 30 years ago. How is this world better today than it was 30 years ago?
90s. That's a good point. Other than the screens that you either hold in your hand or the screens are getting bigger on the wall, I don't know what. Yeah. I guess, there are certain things, like you could say the digitizing of things.
Okay.
So, like, music is a great example. Music and the written word and so much of art, I think, has exploded for the better. That's one thing that I don't think has actually declined. The sort of music industry and the big industries have declined, but there's a lot of creative people making amazing things.
Okay, so accessibility.
Accessibility has really, it is amazing, like that piece of classical music that you kind of thought about, but you couldn't ever really find. You might go to the library and find a copy on vinyl. It's like now, for free, essentially.
All right, so that's a want versus a need.
Sure.
All right. My point was we haven't progressed as far as what matters, what's a priority, what's a need. All of our advancements are superficial, except for like the truly revolutionary tech type stuff that we can all take advantage of.
Oh, no, but you're not the first to bring this up. The guy, Eric Weinstein, has been talking about this for a while, saying, where's all this progress we were promised? Just terms of technology. And part of me thinks it is by design. Some companies are doing so well, they don't want competitors. They don't want the new thing coming out.
Yeah.
And some of it's got to give here. But I got to hit a break. But first, as part of the program, again, brought to you by Dillon Rings. Again, folks, they are closed today. They are on vacation all the way to July 8th.
Yeah.
Which,
well-deserved vacation, buddy.
Can't blame them.
Nope.
They
Can't blame at all.
They have earned that. But if you want to kind of shop from home, get an idea.
Good idea, Joe.
You can go to DillonRings.com or just look on Facebook or Instagram, and they have a truly amazing selection from high-end items to everyday jewelry items that won't break the bank, won't break your heart if you lose it on a hiking trip or going to the beach or something, but still looks great. course, they can also do appraisals. So maybe it's been 10, 20, 30 years since you've appraised that ring.
Times have changed.
That necklace,
Values
that pendant.
have changed.
Yeah, you're probably going to get a much more generous thing. And they're the gold standard when it comes to appraisals there at Dillon Rings. They could also do repair work, including watch repairs, custom design work, second to none. Josh Ryder's a true artist. And even like spa treatments, pearl stringing, they do it all. A full-service jewelry shop. They're Dillon Rings. So, again, you can always go to DillonRings.com. And after the 8th, be sure to stop by 119 Brown Springs Road, right here in Montgomery, just off of Atlanta Highway. And be sure to tell them that, well, those guys on the radio sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Shashi's Bakery and Fine Foods welcomes you, where every bite feels like coming home. Shashi's has been serving up all of your favorites for years in their eclectic homey dining room. Enjoy a relaxing lunch with a glass of wine. Everything from a meat and three to grilled Reubens, fried shrimp, fried oysters and shrimp and crab gumbo, Greek-style snapper, and smoked beef tenderloin. Everything is made homemade, and at Shashi's, the veggies come from the Montgomery Curb Market. If you're craving Shashi's cinnamon rolls, cream cheese brownies, or if you can't stop thinking about their fresh chicken salad, then head home to Shashi's. Put Saturday brunch back on your calendar and enjoy all of your favorites again. Whether it's Friday Eve, a birthday, or whatever the occasion, come home to Shashi's Bakery and Fine Foods. Shashi's Bakery and Fine Foods, an iconic, locally owned restaurant located at 1700 Mulberry Street.
Make 2024 the year you break away from the chain stores and join us here at Adams Drugs. We value your business and want to provide you the best customer service at the lowest possible price. We've been serving up excellent customer service here in the River region for over 62 years.
I made the swap to Adams Drugs and I couldn't be happier. Having a job and then getting 3 kids to all of their activities keeps me busy. I don't have an hour to waste waiting on a prescription. At Adams, they know me and my family. I get in and out in minutes, and when I can't get by Adams, they'll bring the prescription right to my door.
What are you waiting for? Come in to Adams Drugs and let us earn your business. Our friendly and personal staff will talk with you and answer any questions you may have about your prescriptions. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local independent Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by H&H Carpets, where you will find a complete line of Mohawk carpet with exceptionally clean, smart strand fiber. It's always available and ready to be installed. H&H Carpets, across from Walmart on the Atlanta Highway.
Rich Thomas weather.
Hi, everybody. It is a routine 4th of July holiday week forecast. No surprises and nothing tropical for us to worry about. Random showers and storms will be around each day through Wednesday, mostly in the afternoon and evening hours. We'll be up to about 93 today, mid-70s tonight. Then the mid-90s return for Wednesday and 4th of July Thursday with triple-digit heat indices. Upper 90s on Friday and Saturday, and a routine beach forecast this weekend. Random storms here and there. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank has digital banking solutions to help you keep up. Check balances, pay bills, and much more. Learn more at cbsbank.com. Charges and fees may apply from your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for information. Member FDIC.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Got some calls rolling in. Of course, Eddie and Byron still hanging out. Let's go right to the phones. Who's up first here, Eddie?
Let's go with Duke.
Hey, Duke, how you doing?
Oh, hey, I ain't doing nothing much. I'm out here, got the fan going outside, but it's doing nothing but blowing hot air.
Yeah,
it's so hot, it's like 15 Michigan inside of a broken down. You go with the window broken down and the rain inside in Arizona, sitting inside the hot car. Michigan now.
Man, that was a tortured analogy right there. That's like
raining inside the window.
Yeah,
For
but
sure.
anyhow,
you could have just said like 14 Mexicans working in Bellhurst right now. Like,
they're inside that hot car that the AC broke and the window won't let down, and it's inside that hot thing for a little while.
okay, so you're hot.
Yeah, hot, the damn fan, it doesn't blow hot air. But I already knew that before I came out here, but it helps a little taste. Your generation, Joey. Can I talk about your generation?
Yeah,
how
sure,
you messed up
man.
things?
Yeah.
Your generation messed it up.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
When it started as your generation with these damn phones. When the last time you seen a kid pulling the lawnmower down the road to go cut somebody's grass or ask to cut somebody's grass?
Joey.
Hey, Duke, if you want an honest answer, I can say that this time last year, someone was doing that, a young man.
There were some young folks doing it.
And I didn't need my lawn cut, but I found another job for him to do.
And you can pay them through your phone.
I do.
Was it a young cat, 16, 17, 18?
He's about 15.
Yeah, and Venmo, Cash App. He's got
Cash
a little
App.
small business going there, Duke. So what else do you got?
Well, hold on. Here's the big thing. What kids are doing in these nice neighborhoods, instead of going and you got to put your trash can out, and you better put it back in, or you're going to get HOA fine. Well, these smart kids are going to the neighbors and going, you know what, for $2, I'll take care of that for you every week. And they're doing the whole neighborhood.
But I tried that. I tried to get some help one time. Well, this man, I was doing a little project for him, and about 2 or 3 years ago, African guy. They love soccer, And son, he had his cell phone out. I told him, you need to put that away, son. We need to take care of this job. Anyhow, by the time we got started, I have him hold one end and I hold another end. This damn boy put his end out. He got excited about the game. He dropped my end. I was like, oh. What the hell you doing, dude? But they ain't made out nothing. They want to hold that phone in their hand 24/7, and it's not working out. So that's what we are with finding good help sometimes with the youngsters.
Duke, it's not young people that made those things. And honestly, it's not young people who are necessarily just addicted to these things. How many 60-year-olds,
blaming the victim?
how many 70-year-olds are sitting there, did you see this on TikTok?
They pronounce
we go, no, we do that, but we're not at work.
You're the one who sends me TikTok.
Who got the kid the
I'm
phone?
not working.
They don't have a job to
I'm
pay
not
for
working
it.
at the time. I'm sitting on my ass at the time when I say no.
I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying it's like I'm Vivek and you're Nikki Haley right now.
No, you past 30 now, so you can do that a little bit. But anyway, that something else I had on my mind since Thursday night. I asked people earlier they couldn't answer the damn question for me. What in the hell is black jobs, Joey?
Black jobs? Jobs that black folks are doing?
That's what I'm going to go with.
Is that
no, the trauma. It came out of this guy named.
I don't know. Wait, what sort of answer are you looking for? Like the NBA?
I want to know. What are black jobs? What job was Trump talking about? The black jobs these folks taking away.
Biden said that.
Name them.
Well, hold on.
Both of them probably said the hell on that stage. I heard both of them. I caught the end of this show, the other night. But I heard Trump
dude,
when I sat down.
You really care about their golf scores, though, don't you? Be honest.
I want to know who in the hell took the black job. What are these black jobs?
Let me ask you something, Duke. When Hyundai decided they were coming to town, did a group of lawmakers not meet with them and tell them that they were going to hire a certain percentage of black folks?
I don't remember that.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Eddie remembers.
But
I remember it very well.
But
But what?
Black jobs.
But what?
The
Now,
word
they weren't
black
white jobs.
what
They
does it
said
mean?
you got to
What was
hire
he
a certain
saying?
amount of black people. They weren't Chinese jobs. They weren't any other job but black people.
That ain't
You will
what-
have black
that ain't
people in
what
this
he-
job.
that ain't-
So
that's not
you
what
tell
he
me,
said.
dude.
That ain't what Trump said, and that's not what Trump said.
If
now.
that's not what he was
Trump just-
referring to, you just said black jobs.
I
I
don't
give you
know
an
what
example
happened
of black
today.
jobs. There's no pleasing you sometimes, Duke. There's just no pleasing you.
Think he does it on purpose, Eddie?
I think he does too.
There's no. I understand about the Hyundai and all that, but
that's an
He was
example.
talking about them damn petty ass cleaning the chicken guts at the chicken house and
No,
selling
that's-
them
that's
damn
not black jobs.
strawberries. That's what he was talking about. all
Going
that
out to
stuff
Tyson
right there.
Foods, you'll see that's not black jobs.
Yeah, they both.
These people not coming on taking the jobs in Hyundai.
Say what now?
They're not taking the Hyundai jobs. No, they're not taking no job. They're taking no job that white folks don't want and the black folks don't want anymore. Because they told the blacks to go to college and get an education here. Well, that's what we did.
Okay, so was that part bad? They
Well,
suggested
he
you go
need
to
to come
college
out
and get an
when
education?
see, I don't like the fact that Trump, the first time around, he said he created jobs for the blacks. I haven't seen no good paying jobs yet that he created.
We're just
for
talking about the
blacks.
Hyundai jobs.
And now he's talking about he created jobs for the blacks. That the people are taking away from the jobs he created for the blacks. So help me out. Did Trump create the jobs at the Hyundai?
Did he create them? Part of
for
his
the blacks.
economy did encourage some more hiring out at Hyundai, yes.
Well, and
I'm
also,
talking about what Trump did. I'm talking about let's stick
well,
with Trump
Duke,
right now.
in
I'm
all
talking about what he
seriousness,
created.
Trump, one of Trump's big program was he came up with the Platinum Plan, and also these economic freedom zones. He did tip his hat to Tim Scott, who I know you love so much. No, but the idea is the idea is entrepreneurship and small business.
We've been doing that for years. We've been,
wasn't there a stat that showed black employment was higher
We did
under
this
Trump?
before Trump. What I'm saying now, during my generation, okay, back in the 80s, all the guys I know, they got
So
out there
if
to
Trump
learn. They got
talks
out there to
about it,
learn.
it's a problem. If Trump doesn't talk about it, it's probably also going to be a problem.
No.
What sort of Kafka novel am I in right now?
He single us out. I don't like the fact that
You're mad that the man talked about you. You're mad if the man
You
don't
don't
talk
even
about you.
believe what you're saying right now.
No, this guy sit there and single us out. Saying he created some jobs for us. Then here 4 years later, or 5, now 8 years later, he talking about damn it that the illegals come taking the black jobs.
Well,
Now, I
Duke,
want to know,
from
is he
now,
taking an
excuse
NFL
me,
job?
excuse
Is he
me,
taking any job that black folks
excuse me,
hold?
sir,
Wait a minute,
excuse
go
me.
ahead.
From now on, I've been listening to your call. It's a good call.
Just say
You're a great
American people
caller, and you should come to Mar-a-Lago sometime. But from now on, I will only talk about white jobs. How about that? Just white jobs.
I want him to name some of these good paying white jobs that the black stuff can't qualify for or don't hold in life. See, I know some guys hold all them jobs that the whites hold. You know, they is the NFL a black job or NBA black job?
It's majority black. I would say that majority black.
That's what he's
NFL,
talking
I'd say
about.
majority black.
He need to specify what jobs he's talking about, see, so I can understand. So I can
Why?
understand
So you
what
be
they
mad?
have. I don't want him.
More
I don't
mad
want him
and
to belittle.
specifically mad?
I don't want him to belittle.
We
me
not
like
only
that.
want jobs,
Like they
we want the
was-
particular jobs, and don't
We
you
want-
talk
we
about
want
them
the
in
good
that
job.
way.
What? Exactly.
You're right, Duke. I gotta run, man. That guy.
Yeah, the good paying jobs, the $100,000 jobs
Hyundai,
that
baby.
the white folk getting.
Hey,
come on,
dude,
man.
okay, I'll end the call this way. I don't care if your
I heard about
ass
that
is
slave
white
driving.
or
I heard about
black.
the slave driving.
Duke.
I heard about the slave driving down there.
Duke, how many? I don't care if somebody's ass is white or black or Hispanic, whatever. Do we not know some folks that just ain't smart enough or don't want to put in the
That's not what
effort?
Trump said, though. He should have said we got some American people poor American people that.
Then
need
you would have
these
called and
jobs
said,
that
you know he was talking about us,
taken
but he
away.
just didn't want to say it.
No, I don't know.
No, now this is an example of what we're talking
just showed
about.
his
It's
true
like
color.
it's
He
just
showed
folks.
He showed his true color. That's all.
God.
That's all.
Okay.
How about that?
That's what you say.
Yeah,
Everybody's
Steve,
got an opinion.
did you just come up with that just now? Okay. Or is this opinion an old one?
Well, he had to wait for this, the liberal machine to get on and like generate a couple of stories about this to try to create a wedge issue.
We all see things differently.
Let's go to simpler
all right,
days.
let me ask you real
Mhm.
quickly. What was Biden's highlight Thursday night?
Like crap in the bed?
All right, so how are we going to attack Trump? How are we going to turn this
Yeah.
into an advantage? What are we going to do?
We'll make it an identity politics thing.
All right. Now that we're all on the same place.
Yeah. Simpler days. How you doing?
Hey, doing pretty good. We look, in simpler days, we look through the nostalgia lens and everything looks better. My question to you, Joey, is when you grew up in Montgomery, when you were, say, 10, 11, 12 years old, which Montgomery do you think is better? That Montgomery or the Montgomery today?
It was pretty awesome when I was 10. That's my only perspective. I don't have a kid now, but it was a pretty good place to grow up.
Well, if you could get in the DeLorean and go for a time ride, go back to the time you grew up and a little bit before and take a ride through Montgomery, we had two great malls. We had a pretty good public school system. We had a pretty good police department. And you could probably close your eyes when you graduated from high school and put your finger on the map, city map, and find a neighborhood where there was a neighborhood school pretty close. It was pretty safe. And there were a whole lot of restaurants that I remember. So,
well,
I don't know. Go ahead.
Well, you got to remember, too, when I was 10, it was 1998. And my folks were already like, we ain't sending them to public schools. Let's send them to Catholic.
That's how I was. You and Justin, same age.
So, I mean, the change and the issues of the city have been going on. But if I remember my childhood and, like, playing Little League Baseball and all sorts of other stuff, yeah, Montgomery wasn't that bad.
But you didn't know what you didn't know.
I didn't know.
Yeah, you didn't have a comparison, and like the area around Normandale, you had that option. The area around Eastbrook, still an option.
Yep.
But you had so many different places in Montgomery you could go that have deteriorated. And
yeah, I mean, I live in County Downs and just go up and down Atlanta Highway. That's, I guess, the best way to jog my memory. And there's just something about driving up and down Atlanta highways that's depressing.
Yeah.
Well,
but you just see a lot of the old end.
Oh, I know there's worse areas, but that's my experience. It's kind of where I grew up, the part of the city I grew up in.
You're used to seeing everything on that street.
Yeah, and just all the old strip malls and all it's just...
But that's all across America, man.
Oh, I know.
Strip malls are...
I'm just saying that's my basis of experience.
Well, come on back into the future and come to the new Montgomery, and it's improved, and I'm sure everybody's enjoying it now. Y'all have a good day.
Hey, maybe our DeLorean will be a EV DeLorean.
Oh, crap.
Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
It's David.
Hey, David.
And look, I think our friend Duke was a little mixed up. I think he misunderstood what was going on at that debate, because Biden was one that said something about black families not being able to afford child care and black jobs and stuff like that. I do not remember Trump saying anything like that. And I just think, like I said, I think he misunderstood what was going on there.
Well, don't look on the internet, because right now it's being directly attributed to Trump, and apparently Biden didn't do anything wrong Thursday night, and everything's completely okay.
Well, I guess they have Democrat-itis, I guess. That's all right. It's a disease. I don't think it's curable. Hey, look, guys, thank you. Good show.
Appreciate it, David.
Al Sharpton is the one that keeps bringing that up.
That huckster.
The Reverend?
Yeah. Most racist statement he said in the last 3 days.
Well, let's give it through the weekend.
Yeah, Al Sharpton didn't like that episode of the Boondocks I cited earlier.
I bet he did not.
Maybe it's because they called out these grifter preachers. Put Reverend in front of your name, and you can get you can pull off all manner of sins.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about
Trump's the con man. You've been doing it for decades, Al.
A lifetime.
Whose lives has he actually improved, other than the own folks that you have around you feathering your own nest? Cheap imitators.
Yep.
We got a lot of them in this country. How about this? Let's hit a break.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, But whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
At Thompson Tractor, we love being here, in the neighborhood, working alongside you, helping you, serving your needs, growing right along with you. No matter the size of your project, we have a complete inventory of small to mid-sized machines to help you tackle any job. Fact is, Thompson Tractor is your go-to source for the best equipment in the business. Legendary Cat machines like compact track loaders, dozers, excavators, and more. And when you buy Cat yellow wire, you're backed by Thompson's trusted service and support from day one. We're all about boosting your productivity and your bottom line. Always have been, always will be. Like right now, with financing starting at 0% on all compact equipment. Whether you're just starting out or have been at it for a while, if growing is where you're going, let's get going together. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details and locations. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Summertime is a fun time at the Kickback Ranch and Event Center. Come and enjoy all the amenities. Swimming, water slide, fishing, bike rides. Hike our Trail of Ribbons. Find a loved one's name who has fought or is fighting cancer. We host family reunions, church retreats, birthday parties, corporate events, weddings, and more. We have cabins, cottages, tents, and an RV park. Come for the day or spend the weekend. It's a short drive down US 331 south of Montgomery. It's the Kickback Ranch and Event Center. Come join us. Kickbackranch.net.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. Final segment here. This part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services, and they're Pest Pro. Ashley and that fantastic team are ready to help you with any and all of your pest control problems. Could be you have a specific job you want to get done, say mosquito treatment. Eddie's a fan of that.
I'm big time fan.
They've done wonderful work for Eddie.
Yes.
Or it could be you want to get termite treatment done or just a basic termite inspection.
They've done that for a lot of my clients. Very good.
But you might as well make them your everyday pest control company. Get them on a regular schedule with you. And then if something does come up, they can also be quick on the draw.
Yeah.
They already know you, already know them. It's a
very comfortable relationship I have with them.
And I'll tell you what, there's a reason Pest Pro has been growing leaps and bounds in the last few years. Not only are they just great, professional at what they do, they're just good local people, too, always giving back. Great growing team there. So give them a call today, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or you can always go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro, Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. We're going to try to get in touch with Ray Bowles here.
I'm calling right now.
All right. So, and I'm trying to think, did I learn anything today? Well, I learned that Duke just knows how to stir things up. He's just driving me nuts. Not really.
David's in Paris now, apparently. Just walk right over there.
No, you should look up. It might have been hosted at the Louvre for a little while.
Touche.
Yeah, like they can move big things.
I don't know if we can anymore, man.
Yeah, how long is it going to take the bridge there in Baltimore? Yeah, it's just example after example of we're just not cutting it.
Right.
Well, thank goodness we had the judge on the first part. At least we got something out of it.
Yeah, we learned about the court a little bit. Let's go to Ray Bowles, Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, I'm sorry. I'm sitting here with customers. She's looking at me with, like I'm half crazy. I'm doing a live radio ad.
He never tells anybody ahead of time.
I was busy talking about her floor. She's got an issue with her tile, and we're trying to match it up to the other tile, and I'm busy explaining everything. I said, oh, wait a minute. I got to do my... Yeah, you know how it is.
So, like you're doing one of those free in-home measurements and consultation.
Yeah. Well, she's in the store looking at tile. I'm going to run over tomorrow and take a peek at it myself because Tad's already been out.
Okay.
And see what we can do to not replace all the tile in this house, but some of the tile. See what we can save on this job. If y'all need something odd like that, call us at 285-8117. We'll come out and give you a free measurement, and then we'll get together, make a game plan to figure out the best way to get you out of this mess, because you weren't planning on doing it, right? Yeah, she was not even thinking floors. And next thing you know, she's in the store having to look around. So, and we will be here tomorrow, and then we're off Thursday and Friday and back to work on Monday.
Excellent.
Awesome. And again, folks, that number 285-8117. When you call 285-8117, be sure to tell them you heard Ray Bowles on the radio with the Joey and Eddie.
Guys, have a great day.
You too, buddy.
Yeah, I find myself, and Duke's call has got me thinking. Because I see it from the right wing too, like Jack Posobiec, or there are a lot of folks out there that are big right wing, Charlie Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
And I just see the like straight up partisan stuff. I occasionally see from our representatives and senators like the press releases.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're good, they're bad for the reason we've been saying for 50, 60 years. And it's just like, grow up, you dum-dums.
Well, they're not dumb, they're charlatans.
Yeah, no,
They're
I mean
snakes.
the people they're tricking and manipulating.
Okay.
Yeah, oh yeah, the operators ain't dumb. But they just, and maybe some folks just dumb. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Common sense ain't so common, brother.
Yeah.
You're exactly right about that.
But I have no taste, and I think what's beautiful, there is a growing movement of people who have no taste for that sort of thing.
Some of the numbers are, I mean, I saw a poll earlier today, Kennedy was up to like 8%.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's not exactly apples to apples here, but to me, that's people being like, enough of this, find a different path. You know, these two parties aren't necessarily reflective of where I am.
Right. Yeah, I just think politics is kind of the drain, the cancer in our society right now.
I mean, it's definitely I don't know if it's actually even the largest problem. It's a problem. I think it's where all of our other problems are magnified and manifest, you know, play out in real time. But it's almost like politics is the canary in the coal mine for some of our other problems, whether it's religious, financial, culturally, what have you. They all play out through the theater of politics.
Well, and I just keep having these dreams, though, of like a wrecking ball, like just taking out D.C., or like Atlantis, like just being swallowed up by the ocean. And it would suck initially, and then people would be like, oh, man, we're doing a lot better now a few years out from that.
Addition by subtraction?
Yeah. Exactly. Like we got too much crap in the way. Time to do a controlled burn of the
Certain
forest.
people in the way. What?
Nothing. It's just fun to look at you like, oh my God, he said
Right.
it. Did you hear what he said?
Right. I was as journalistic as I could be.
It's a Rorschach test, folks. What did you think Eddie meant?
Yeah.
I like that shit. Yeah, we got to get out of here. Greg Budell, Happy Hour. He's next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana.